Chapter 1568. Time passed day by day. One Chinese network? 181Z1 com. The misty sword scripture was extremely profound and profound. It deeply attracted Yulanxin, causing her to live in the White Cliff courtyard without any hesitation. She spent every day with Yi Qinfeng, studying the misty sword scripture. Looking at the two of them together, Xia Wendy suddenly felt uncomfortable in her heart. But she was too embarrassed to say it out loud. She could only curse Yi Qinfeng in her heart and find a chance to teach him a lesson. Soon a month passed. With Yi Qinfeng and Yulanxin working together, they had comprehended the misty sword scripture. Their comprehension of the sword Dao had deepened and they had grasped the misty true extreme sword. As for the misty ancient extreme sword, the misty grand Dao sword was too profound and the requirements for one's cultivation were too high. Thus, the two of them were currently unable to cultivate it. Qingfeng, are you really only a 4-star Dao saint? After seeing Yi Qinfeng's perception and talent, the proud and arrogant Yulanxin was completely convinced. She looked at Yi Qinfeng with even more shock, as if she couldn't see through him at all. What? Does third senior apprentice sister suspect that I'm hiding my strength? Yi Qinfeng faintly smiled. He looked at Yulanxin's exquisite facial features up close. No, I'm just sighing. Why is your perception so high when your cultivation is so low? You must know that not just anyone can comprehend a top-grade true spirit saint art. Even a Dao emperor would find it difficult to do so, but you were able to comprehend its mysteries. You really do surprise me. Yulanxin didn't avoid Yi Qinfeng's gaze. She met his deep eyes, as if she wanted to see through him. If it weren't for third senior apprentice sister's help, I don't think we would have been able to comprehend the misty sword scripture in such a short period of time. Yi Qinfeng smiled, changing the topic. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. No matter what, I owe you a favor. In the future I will find a chance to repay you. Yulanxin gently brushed her hair back from her forehead and gently stood up. All right, perhaps I really do need third senior sister's help. Yi Qinfeng looked at the incomparably beautiful Yulanxin. Junior apprentice brother Yi, you and junior apprentice sister Xia need to be careful these days. The Misty Heaven sect isn't peaceful at all. I believe that there are many people who covet the Misty Sword Scripture and Soaring Firmament Sage Scripture. If there is any danger, tell me and I will help you. Yulanxin warned them and then floated away. As soon as Yulanxin left, Xia Wendy came out. She said in a strange tone, "Don't look anymore. She's already gone far away. If you keep looking you'll steal her soul away." Are you jealous? Yi Qinfeng looked at the fuming Xia Wendy and said half-jokingly, "Eat your head. Do you think you're very handsome? What a narcissist." Xia Wendy rolled her eyes at Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng laughed, no longer teasing Xia Wendy. He grabbed her hand and said, "Haha, let's go to the mission pavilion." "What are we going to the mission pavilion for?" Xia Wendy glanced at him and pulled back her hand. "To accept missions and earn contribution points," Yi Qinfeng said. "Isn't it too dangerous for us to accept missions at this time?" Xia Wendy asked. She was well aware of just how sensational it was for her and Yi Qinfeng to obtain a supreme inheritance at Dao Teaching Cliff. She knew just how difficult it was for them to accept missions without permission and leave the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion. "What? Are you scared?" Looking at the worried Xia Wendy, Yi Qinfeng smiled. "You're not doing this on purpose, right?" Thinking that Yi Qinfeng was definitely not an impulsive person and seeing his relaxed appearance, Xia Wendy suddenly thought of a possibility. "Let's go. Even if the sky falls down, I'll hold it up for you. Nothing will happen." With Zhulong's support, Yi Qinfeng would not be afraid even if a Taoist master chased after them. Moreover, Taoist masters were definitely top-notch existences in the sky region. Existences like Taoist gods and Taoist ancestors could only be seen in the Void God realm. After leaving the White Cliff courtyard, Yi Chunfeng used his identity token to summon an immortal crane. He rode it out of the blue snow immortal pavilion and arrived at the mission pavilion, which was built like a celestial pavilion. Because the news of Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy obtaining the supreme inheritance at the Tao imparting cliff was too shocking, their appearance was immediately recognized by others. For a moment, the two of them became the absolute center of attention. Many people discussed in low voices, paying attention to them. After passing through a thin layer of restriction, they entered the mission pavilion. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy saw a large number of jade slips hanging on a row of ancient shelves. The jade slips were marked with contribution points. The deeper they went into the mission pavilion, the higher the contribution points were, and the fewer Snow Palace disciples there were to accept the missions. When they reached the last row, there was only a beautiful woman in a dark green dress. Her figure was curvaceous, and she exuded an enchanting charm. She was a beautiful woman. 6-star Tao sovereign. Seeing this green-dressed woman, Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. He discovered that this woman was actually a 6-star Tao sovereign. Her strength was likely equal to Yu Lanxin's. Seeing Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy walk over, the green-dressed woman coldly swept her eyes over them. Then, she no longer paid them any attention. She released her soul force into the jade slips and chose a mission that suited her. 30,000 contribution points, 50,000 contribution points, 80,000 contribution points. Yi Chunfeng released his soul force, penetrating the jade slips with tens of thousands of contribution points to choose a mission that suited her. Kill a 4-star Tao Emperor, kill a king-level Saint Beast, destroy the heavenly wind Thunder Valley that is attached to the Celestials. Seeing the contents of the jade slips, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but sigh at the difficulty of these missions. At the end of the selection, he developed a keen interest in a mission within a jade slip. Go to the suicide forest and pick suicide flowers. Each suicide flower could be exchanged for 1,000 contribution points. Alright, this is it. Although Yi Chunfeng guessed that the suicide forest would be extremely dangerous and that picking suicide flowers would be extremely difficult, he still decided to accept this mission. If you don't want to die, I advise you not to accept this mission. As Yi Chunfeng reached out to take the mission jade slip, an icy cold voice entered Yi Chunfeng's ears. What, is this mission very difficult? Yi Chunfeng turned his head and looked at the green-dressed woman from afar. Let alone you, even a 1-star Tao Emperor wouldn't dare to accept this mission, the green-dressed woman coldly said. After she finished speaking, she took the mission jade slip and left. Chingfeng, how about we change missions? Xia Wendy said in a soft voice. No, this is the mission. Yi Chunfeng shook his head, took the mission jade slip and said, Let's go, we will go register and then go to the suicide forest. Elder, we will accept this mission. Yi Chunfeng handed over the mission jade slip to the elder in charge of registration, and said, Suicide flower mission. The gray-robed elder's expression was startled. He looked at Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy and said, If you don't want to die, then change missions. I can clearly tell you that anyone below the Tao Emperor level will definitely die if they accept this mission. We have confidence in completing this mission, Yi Chunfeng solemnly vowed. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng didn't listen to his advice, the gray-robed elder didn't say anything else. After registering them, he let them leave. In his opinion, he didn't need to waste his breath on two people who were about to die. Let's go, we will go to the suicide forest. Yi Chunfeng stored the mission jade slip in the universe mirror. He didn't inform Shui Piaomiao. He summoned the immortal crane of the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion and rode it out of the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion, flying towards the suicide forest at an extremely fast speed. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy had just left the Misty Heaven sect. Shui Mingxian immediately received the news and revealed a trace of a sinister smile. I don't know if you are really stupid or pretending to be stupid. You actually dare to leave the Misty Heaven sect at this time. Since that's the case, let me send you to the Western Paradise. Chapter 1569. The Suicide Forest was located in the northwest of the Nihility region. A large number of saint beasts resided in the forest. Even Tao emperors would find it hard to survive if they entered the forest. We're here. According to the map, the Suicide Forest is right in front of us. Yi Chunfeng stood on the giant red-crowned crane and looked at the boundless ancient forest in the distance. He rode the red-crowned crane and landed on the outskirts of the Suicide Forest. Qingfeng, why don't we fly directly into the Suicide Forest? We can save a lot of time that way. Xia Wendy asked in confusion when she saw Yi Chunfeng enter the Suicide Forest from the periphery. I'm afraid that if we fly directly into the Suicide Forest, some people won't be able to find us. Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile and summoned the 3 ancient array flags and the ancient sky-shrouding diagram. He used the complex forest terrain to seal this area. You're talking about the people from the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion. Xia Wendy raised her brows and guessed who Yi Chunfeng was waiting for. That's right. Xue Mingxian will definitely not let go of this opportunity to get rid of us. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, but I'm very curious. Who will he send to kill us? Qingfeng, aren't you afraid that Xue Mingxian will come to kill us himself? Xia Wendy knew how precious the supreme-grade Saint True Spirit art was. If Xue Mingxian came personally, with his strength as a 2-star Dao Emperor, he would be a great threat to them. I hope that Xue Mingxian will come himself. Although Yi Chunfeng's current strength might not be Xue Mingxian's match, as long as he awakened the Torch Dragon, he could kill him in seconds. Alright, let's wait here. If I'm not wrong, they should be coming soon. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng closed his eyes and silently circulated the soul-devouring art. He absorbed the dense heaven spirit qi in the Suicide Forest and consolidated his cultivation, preparing to break through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul power sensed more than 10 powerful auras rapidly approaching them. They're here. Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his eyes and looked into the distance through the lush foliage. Qingfeng, did Xue Mingxian personally come? Xia Wendy asked somewhat nervously. No. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, it's just as I expected. In order to avoid suspicion, Xue Mingxian didn't leave the Misty Heaven sect, but he sent the person he trusted the most. Snow Saliva One? Xia Wendy guessed. That's right, it's Xue Si, the number 1 disciple of the Snow Palace's younger generation. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, I wonder if 3rd senior sister would be grateful to me for killing Xue Te. Even at this time, you're still thinking about your 3rd senior sister. If you like her so much, do you need me to pull some strings for you? Xia Wendy rolled her eyes at Yi Chunfeng. Although 3rd senior sister is beautiful, her temperament is too cold. She is not my type. Yi Chunfeng laughed bitterly and said, all right, my great beauty Xia, prepare for battle. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, an ear-piercing sound of something breaking through the air was heard. 13 experts of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion led by Xue Te appeared in the Suicide Forest, blocking Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy's escape route. Oh, what a coincidence! Isn't this junior brother Yi and junior sister Xia? I didn't expect to see you here. Zhou Yun, who had a bad relationship with Yi Chunfeng, looked at Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy with a sinister smile and said sarcastically, Zhou Yun, do you know why you're doing worse than others? It's because your IQ is a little low. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and attacked him without holding back. Damn it, you're still so stubborn even when you're about to die. When you capture me later, I promise you'll regret going against me. Zhou Yun didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to mock him at this time. He was so angry that his face turned green and he said fiercely, I'm about to die. Yi Chunfeng sighed softly and said, You think we're waiting for death here? Why, did you expect us to come? Xueli frowned slightly and looked coldly at Yi Chunfeng. He was a little surprised that Yi Chunfeng was still so calm. Is it that hard to guess? Yi Chunfeng said indifferently, will Shui Mingxian let go of such a good opportunity to get rid of us? So, you're deliberately waiting for us to come. Shui Li's brows were tightly knitted together. Looking at the calm Yi Chunfeng, he suddenly felt a little uneasy in the depths of his heart. That's right. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Shui Mingxian is so anxious to get rid of us and take the Misty Sword scripture from me. Should I give him a big gift? Damn it, you're just a 4-star Dao saint. How dare you play tricks? A 3-star Dao master received Shui Gai's message and suddenly roared. He held a spear that was a supreme-grade divine weapon and thrust it toward Yi Chunfeng like a black flood dragon coming out of its cave. With a sharp sound of air friction, it pierced toward Yi Chunfeng. Crack! As the 3-star Dao master stabbed with his spear, a pair of supreme-grade sacred weapon gloves immediately appeared on Yi Chunfeng's hands. He met the attack and punched the sharp tip of the spear. The next moment, a force that was beyond the 3-star Dao master's imagination rushed into his arms through the spear like a broken dam. The terrible force directly tore his arms into thousands of holes, and his whole body retreated uncontrollably. Before Shui Li and the others could come to his rescue, a sword shadow flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet and broke out a force of more than 1 billion pounds to hit him. Bang! The 3-star Dao master was knocked away by the force that burst out from Yi Chunfeng's body and smashed into an ancient tree in the distance. The ancient tree was broken and his body turned into a cloud of blood mist. Seeing Yi Chunfeng defeat the 3-star Dao master with absolute strength, Shui Li's eyebrows were tightly knitted together. Zhou Yun, who wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng to vent his hatred, was so scared that he trembled and could not help but take a step back. Yi Chunfeng, I underestimated you. I didn't expect you to have cultivated your body to the level that surpasses that of an ordinary sacred beast. Although Yi Chunfeng's battle strength was amazing, Shui Li, as the #1 genius of Snow Palace, had experienced many storms and waves. He did not show a trace of panic on his face. He looked coldly at Yi Chunfeng and summoned a long sword that was a low-grade true spirit sacred weapon. No matter how strong your body is, it still can't make up for the gap between our realms. But if you can die in my hands, you can smile even in the netherworld. Is a 1-star Dao Emperor very strong? Yi Chunfeng sneered and stopped hiding his strength. A Dao energy that shocked Shui Li and the others awakened in his body. The strength of the Dao energy made Zhou Yun and the others feel suffocated and breathless. 6-star Dao Master. Sensing that Yi Chunfeng's strength had reached the level of a 6-star Dao Master, Shui Li's pupils shrank into the most dangerous pinhole and the uneasiness in his heart grew stronger. 4-star Dao Master. Then, they felt that Xia Wendi's strength had also reached the level of a 4-star Dao Master and a low-grade true spirit sacred weapon was floating above her head. Who are you people? Why did you sneak into the ethereal heaven sect? Shui Li did not expect Yi Chunfeng to be so secretive, and asked with a gloomy face. Dead people don't need to know so much. With that, Yi Chunfeng controlled the 3 ancient formation flags and the sky-shrouding diagram to restrict the entire space and block the escape route of Shui Li and the others. Then, he summoned the Sacred Eclipse sword and launched a ferocious attack at Shui Qi. Chapter 1570. A 6-star Dao Master wants to kill me? You must be dreaming. Shui Qi snorted coldly as he charged forward with his sword. He clashed with Yi Chunfeng. 1. When the 2 sword tips collided with each other, Yi Chunfeng burned his primordial blood, instantly increasing his strength by 3 times. More than 3 billion gene of strength gushed out of the Sacred Eclipse sword, shattering Shui Mi's attack and bending his low-rank true saint sword, forcing him to take a step back. What? Senior brother Ti was forced to retreat. In the eyes of Zhou Yun and the others, Shui Ti was an invincible existence. Even in the entire Misty Heaven sect, there were not many who could defeat him. They could not believe that Yi Chunfeng had actually forced him to take a step back. The strongest person in Snow Palace is only SOSO. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and summoned the supreme quality Saint Treasure Sword Wings. With a shocking sword chi, he continued to launch ferocious attacks at Xue Qi Yi, suppressing his attacks. Senior brother Ti can deal with that little bastard. Let's capture Xiao Wendai first. Zhou Yun looked at the beautiful Xiao Wendai and said maliciously, "Okay." Although Xiao Wendai was a 4-star Dao Master, Xue Mingxian had also sent a 6-star Dao Master. With him in charge, they could control the situation. Demon Ba, come out! With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned out the Demon Ba sealed in the ancient bronze coffin. He placed the Demon Ba in front of Zhou Yun and the others, blocking them. Then, a ferocious roar sounded from the ancient bronze coffin. Demon Ba, who was surrounded by thick demon qi, pushed open the thick coffin lid and roared at Zhou Yun and the others, "Blood, I want to drink blood." Ba, how did he subdue a Ba? Although Zhou Yun and the others had never seen a Ba before, they had read about it in ancient books. Ba was the king of zombies. Its strength was extremely terrifying. The strongest Ba's strength could surpass the limit of Demon Emperor and reach the level of Demon Master. It could single-handedly defeat many forces in the Qin-Yun realm. Demon Ba, kill them for me. Yi Chunfeng gave Mo Ba the order to kill. Roar, leave it to me. Mo Ba let out a roar that did not sound like a human's. Wielding a dragon-patterned saber that weighed several million jin, he slashed towards Zhou Yun and the others with endless demonic energy. And at this time, Xiao Wendi also summoned her low-grade true spirit saint robe. The hidden spirit robe appeared around her, and with the clear feather spirit saber in hand, she attacked together with Demon Ba. "No, don't kill me." Zhou Yun was the weakest out of all of them. In just a single exchange, he was injured by the demonic qi that erupted from Mo Ba's body. He fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood as he begged for mercy with a pale face. Trash. Xiao Wendi revealed a merciless expression. She wielded the pure feather spirit saber, a low-grade true spirit saint artifact. She interweaved with a terrifying Dao will and slashed at Zhou Yun, splitting him in half and killing him on the spot. After killing Zhou Yun, Xiao Wendi followed behind Mo Ba. She channeled the secret art of Azure and continuously sent out powerful seals of Azure, bombarding the experts of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion. They kept worsening their injuries and suppressing them. Screams constantly rang in their ears, but Xueli turned a deaf ear to them. He deduced the sword Dao that he cultivated to the extreme, using speed to fight speed. He was like two shadows of wind as he fought fiercely with Yi Chunfeng. Firmament Seal. When Xueli used his absolute attack to repel the Sacred Eclipse sword, 4 profound Dao diagrams appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body. His hands rapidly formed seals, forming a giant hand seal that seemed to be nurturing the firmament. It fused with the power of the surrounding space and imprinted on Xueli's longsword. Boom! The firmament seal shattered, and a terrifying power forcibly broke Xueli's attack. Sacred Flame Triple Transformation. After experiencing Xueli's strength, Yi Chunfeng no longer held back. He ignited 3 sacred flames and fused with the power of the heaven-suppressing orb and sacred blood orb. He forcibly raised his strength to the pinnacle of a 1-star Dao Emperor and continued to fight fiercely with Xueli. Sacred Blood Flame Technique. Sensing Yi Chunfeng's sudden increase in strength, Xueli no longer held back. He executed the Sacred Blood Flame Technique and stimulated the bloodline power in his body, increasing his strength to the greatest extent. Blood Flame First Sword. Xueli roared. His bloodline power and powerful Dao will fuse together, forming a blood sword in the void. It interweaved with a sea of blood and dyed the space red. It slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng was clear about the consequences of killing Xueli. He didn't execute the Misty Sword scripture. Instead, he used the various inheritances of various races. That way, it would be useless even if Xue Mingxian came personally. True Spirit Dragon Wrestling Fist. Yi Chunfeng kept the Eclipse sacred sword and raised his physical strength to the limit. He fused the power of the 4 mystic grade Tao diagrams and constantly blasted out fist lights that could kill a true dragon. He forcefully shattered the blood sword in the sea of blood. And what a terrifying sacred art! Who is he? Why is his foundation so deep? After witnessing the terror of the true spirit dragon wrestling fist, the uneasiness in Xueli's heart grew stronger. He had a feeling that Yi Chunfeng's true spirit dragon wrestling fist had reached the level of a high-grade true spirit saint skill. Blood Flame Triple Sword. Xueli deduced the Tao will that he cultivated to the limit and executed the strongest sword move that he had grasped. 3 overlapping sword lights surged forward like rolling waves of blood. They turned into a terrifying devouring mouth that swallowed Yi Chunfeng whole. The power that erupted from Xueli's blood flame triple sword was extremely terrifying. However, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He roared and his robust body continued to expand. He transformed into his true spirit body and continuously blasted out the true spirit dragon wrestling fist, bombarding the devouring mouth formed by the blood flame triple sword. Boom, boom, boom. Earth-shaking explosions rang out incessantly. The 2 great true spirit saint skills fiercely clashed in the air, setting off boundless waves of wind that swept out in all directions, causing the entire space to tremble. Golden Sword Spirit Slash. When Yi Chunfeng executed the true spirit dragon wrestling fist and clashed with the blood flame triple sword, a golden sword light flew out of Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul. With a dazzling golden light, it slashed towards Xueli, whose expression changed slightly. Golden Sword Spirit, it's really the Golden Sword Spirit. Back at the preaching cliff, Xueli had a vague feeling that Yi Chunfeng might have cultivated the Golden Sword Spirit. However, he knew the difficulty of condensing the Golden Sword Spirit. Coupled with Yi Chunfeng's cultivation realm, he denied his own guess. But now, he realized that he wasn't wrong. Yi Chunfeng had really condensed the Golden Sword Spirit. Blood-killing sword array. At the critical moment, Xueli summoned 108 supreme-grade saint swords and quickly formed a powerful blood-killing sword array in front of him to block the attack of the Golden Sword Spirit. Looking at the 108 supreme-grade saint swords that formed the sword array, Yi Chunfeng's eyes suddenly lit up. He was currently lacking supreme-grade saint swords and Xueli had delivered them to him. Alright, I won't play with you anymore. I'll send you to hell. With that, Yi Chunfeng summoned a mid-grade true spirit saint treasure, the Green Luan Sacred Bow. He forcefully pulled it open and controlled the golden Tao power in his body to surge into the sacred bow. He condensed it into a powerful Green Luan sacred arrow and shot it towards Xueli. Bang! Under the attack of the Green Luan sacred arrow, the blood-killing sword array that was cracked by the Golden Sword Spirit was penetrated. Under Xueli's horrified gaze, the arrow shot towards his chest. Between life and death, Xueli constantly revealed his life-saving trump cards to block the attack of the Green Luan sacred arrow. However, Yi Chunfeng burned his primordial blood and had endless Tao power. He continued to pull the Green Luan sacred bow to attack Xueli. Under the continuous attack of the Green Luan sacred arrows, the life-saving trump cards that Xueli summoned were constantly shattered. In the end, Xueli was powerless to resist and was pierced through by the Green Luan sacred arrows. He turned into a cloud of blood and exploded to death. Chapter 1571. No, don't kill us. After witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng killing Xueli, the 3 disciples of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion, who were desperately resisting Mo Ba and Xia Wendy's attacks, were terrified. They continuously begged for mercy. 80? Chinese? 1. Isn't it too late to be afraid now? Yi Chunfeng said mercilessly as he continued to draw the Green Luan sacred bow and attack. Soon, the remaining 3 disciples of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion were killed by the Blue Luan sacred arrow. They turned into clouds of blood mist and died on the spot. "Matsi, let's go." With a wave of his hand, Yi Chunfeng took away Xue Sili's belongings and summoned Emoba back to the universe realm to destroy their corpses before flying into the depths of the suicide forest with Xia Wendi. About an hour later, Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi appeared in a secluded valley and took out the spoils of war from killing Xue Sili's group. 108 Supreme Grade Sacred Swords. Xue Sili, thank you so much. Yi Chunfeng realized that the 108 Supreme Grade Sacred Swords obtained from killing Xue Sili were of extremely high quality. With them, the Universe Sword Array's power would increase by leaps and bounds. Mid-grade Sacred Art, Sacred Blood Flame Art. Other than the hundreds of Supreme Grade Sacred Swords, Yi Chunfeng also found the Sacred Blood Flame Art's Cultivation Scroll and his weapon, the low-grade Sacred Artifact, Heaven-Slaying Sword, among Xue Sili's belongings. After witnessing Xue Sili's Blood Flame Triple Sword, Yi Chunfeng knew the value of the Sacred Blood Flame Art. He was prepared to use it to trade for something useful in the future. Other than that, he also obtained a lot of mid-grade and high-grade heaven crystals, a large number of sacred pills, and supreme-grade sacred artifacts. Oh, what's this? At the end of the inspection, Yi Chunfeng found a brocade box sealed with layers of restrictions among Xue Sili's belongings. When he forcefully broke open the brocade box's restrictions, he saw 3 longan-sized, milky white pills with 3 pill veins that emitted a refreshing fragrance. This is a 3rd-grade sacred true pill. As Yi Chunfeng stared at the pill, its quality appeared in God-Eater's mind. 3rd-grade true spirit pill. I wonder if I can reach the limit of a 6-star Tao Master with the help of this true spirit pill. Yi Chunfeng was well aware of the value of a 3rd-grade true spirit saint pill. It definitely surpassed a low-grade true spirit saint artifact. He gave one to Xia Wendi and took one himself. He circulated the soul-devouring art and quickly refined it for cultivation. The level 3 true pill contained an extremely large amount of medicinal power. When it melted in Yi Chunfeng's body, it immediately released a majestic medicinal power. However, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was too strong. The medicinal power released by the 3rd-grade true spirit saint pellet couldn't harm his body at all. He endured the pain in his body and quickly refined the medicinal power to increase his strength. Xia Patterned Butterfly's body was not as strong as Yi Chunfeng's. When she took the rank 3 true spirit saint pill, she suffered quite a bit of pain. Fortunately, her Tao heart was strong. She endured the pain and circulated the numinous sky scripture to refine the pill. Soon, 5 days passed. In these 5 days, Yi Chunfeng refined 2 3rd-grade true spirit saint pellets and raised his strength to the limit of a 6-star Tao Master. Xia Wendi broke through the bottleneck and reached the 5-star Tao Master realm with the help of the powerful medicinal power of the 3rd-grade true spirit saint pellet. I actually broke through. The moment she broke through, Xia Wendi revealed a look of surprise. She never dreamed that she would break through another realm so quickly. The 3rd-grade true spirit saint pellet is indeed powerful. If Yi Chunfeng wasn't an ordinary person, he could have broken through to the 1-star Tao Emperor realm by refining 2 3rd-grade true spirit saint pellets consecutively. Let's go, Matsi. Let's find a pool. Your current appearance is really damaging your beautiful image. Yi Chunfeng looked at Xia Wendi, who was covered in blood, and said with a smile, "It's none of your business." Xia Wendi blushed and rolled her eyes at Yi Chunfeng. But in her heart, she was grateful to Yi Chunfeng. Without Yi Chunfeng, she wouldn't have broken through so quickly. The suicide forest was vast and boundless. There was no lack of pools. Soon, the two of them found a quiet pool. "When I'm bathing, you're not allowed to peek. Otherwise, I'll dig out your eyeballs." Xia Wendi looked at Yi Chunfeng with reddened cheeks and warned fiercely. "Tisk, it's not like I haven't seen it before," Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. Under Xia Wendai's fiery gaze, he walked to the side. Xia Wendi ground her teeth as she watched Yi Chunfeng walk into the distance. She took off her little boots and walked into the ice-cold pool with bare feet. She took off her clothes in the pool, and the filthy blood that was forced out from her body after breaking through her cultivation realm was clearly visible. Soaking in the cool pool, Xia Wendai felt refreshed. Strands of spirit energy entered her body through her pores, making her feel so comfortable that she couldn't extricate herself. When Xia Wendai washed the blood off her body and was preparing to change into a clean set of clothes, she suddenly saw Yi Chunfeng appear on the shore. Her cheeks turned red and she sank her body to the bottom of the pool. She covered her chest with her hands and said, "You, what are you doing? Hey, Matzi, what are you so nervous about?" Seeing the wet and nervous Xia Wendai, Yi Chunfeng lightly sighed and said, "That night when you threw yourself into my arms, I was still indifferent. Do you think I would have bad intentions?" "Yi Chunfeng, what do you mean by that? Am I not beautiful enough to attract you?" Xia Wendai ground her teeth and angrily said. She wanted nothing more than to bite Yi Chunfeng a few times. "All right, if I were you, I would quickly put on my clothes and come out. Otherwise, I feel that you might jump out of the pool. At that time, don't say that I took advantage of you and took advantage of you," Yi Chunfeng said as he looked at the furious Xia Wendai. After being reminded by Yi Chunfeng, Xia Wendai's sharp perception suddenly sensed danger at the bottom of the pool. Her expression slightly changed and the invisible spirit clothes immediately appeared on her body, covering her enchanting body as she leaped out of the pool. The moment she leaped out of the pool, a black demon eel that was hundreds of meters long suddenly opened its bloody mouth and bit at Xia Wendi, who had leaped into the air, trying to swallow her into its stomach. Mystic rank sacred beast. Sensing the level of the black demonic eel, the golden sword spirit broke out of Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul. It turned into a blinding golden light in mid-air and slashed at the black demonic eel. Its huge body was cut in half, and it died on the spot. A large amount of blood dyed the lake red. "Now you know that I wasn't trying to peek at you." Yi Chunfeng pointed at the black demon eel's corpse that was spewing out blood and lightly said, "Yi Chunfeng, is this lady so unattractive?" Xia Wendai walked to Yi Chunfeng's side and angrily said, "Let me tell you, this lady is very angry." Without waiting for Xia Wendai to finish speaking, Yi Chunfeng suddenly hugged her tightly and pressed her soft body against a thick ancient tree. He revealed a smile and said, "If you really want to have something with me, I don't mind." Feeling the squeeze of Yi Chunfeng's body, and being so close to Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes, Xia Wendai felt as if a little deer had appeared in her heart, jumping around. An alluring blush appeared on her delicate cheek. In the next moment, Xia Wendai's expression instantly changed. She forcefully pushed Yi Chunfeng away and said, "You pervert, if you dare to touch this lady will turn you into a eunuch in a matter of minutes." Yi Chunfeng. Chapter 1572. Chaos Divine Beast, Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, Space Swallower, come out. Yi Chunfeng realized that he could not read Xia Wendi's mind. Ignoring her, he summoned the 3 sacred beasts and had them devour the demonic core of the black demonic eel to increase their strength. Bai Chinese network is almost equal to demonic qi. The demonic qi here is so thick. Sensing the demonic qi hidden in the suicide forest, the chaos divine beast's eyes lit up. After returning to the Qingyun realm, it felt like a dragon returning to the sea. It was no longer suppressed by the soul-fighting continent. As long as it devoured enough demonic cores and demonic beast flesh, it could recover its strength in the shortest time possible. It could also regain its memories and remember who suppressed it. Yes, this suicide forest is known as a forbidden zone for life. There are many sacred beasts living here. I heard that there are even powerful king-level sacred beasts in the depths of the forest. Yi Chunfeng nodded. King-level sacred beasts. Oh my god, this is our heaven. If I devour the demon core of a king-grade saint beast, I can definitely recover to the level of a Xian grade Saint Beast. If I devour a dozen King grade Saint Beasts, I can also recover to the level of a King grade Saint Beast. The Chaos Divine Beast's eyes were burning with excitement as he spoke. Although the golden clear dragon bloodlion and the space swallower did not say anything, they were also excited. Let's go. Let's go deeper into the suicide forest and see where the legendary suicide flower is. It is worth the reward from the Misty Heavens sect. After the three sacred beasts devoured the black demonic eel, Yi Chunfeng did not waste any more time. He and Xia Wendy rode on the Chaos Divine Beast and the Golden Clear Dragon Blood Lion respectively and rushed into the depths of the suicide forest. Sensing Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy's aura, a large number of demonic beasts in the suicide forest were attracted. However, these demonic beasts were not a threat to Yi Chunfeng. He controlled the Golden Sword Soul and killed them easily. The demonic cores of the demonic beasts were also divided among the Chaos Divine Beast and the other two sacred beasts. Soon, the sky darkened. After a day of slaughter, Yi Chunfeng, Xia Wendai, and the three saint beasts retreated into the universe mirror to rest. After devouring a large number of demonic cores, the Golden Dragon Bloodlion, a Chaos Divine Beast, showed signs of evolution. On the other hand, the Space Swallower, a mid-level sacred beast, showed no signs of evolution. Obviously, the evolution of the Space Swallower required more energy and was more difficult. However, if the Space Swallower evolved to a certain level, it could directly devour space and form a powerful wormhole. By then, Yi Chunfeng could use the Space Swallower to travel through space at will. Early in the morning, Yi Chunfeng, who had recovered his Tao energy, brought the Xiaowen butterfly and the three saint beasts out of the universe realm. They searched for the suicide flower while killing the powerful demon beasts in the suicide forest. Soon, 3 days had passed. Yi Chunfeng and his group had ventured deep into the suicide forest, but they had yet to find a single suicide flower. On the other hand, the Chaos Divine Beast and the Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion had successfully evolved into Mystic Divine Beasts after devouring a large number of Saint Beast cores. Their strength was comparable to a 2-star demon venerable. The sound of a waterfall. Let's go to the waterfall in front to rest. Yi Chunfeng, who had just killed a profound rank holy beast, horned purple-eyed snake, faintly heard the sound of a waterfall in the distance. He immediately brought Xia Wendy and the other 3 demonic beasts to a waterfall that was several thousand meters long and looked like a silver dragon. What a strong demonic qi! Standing under the waterfall, Yi Chunfeng's sharp senses could sense a terrifying demonic qi in the waterfall. This demonic qi was definitely stronger than a mystic-class sacred beast and had reached the level of a king-class sacred beast. Everyone, be careful. If I'm not wrong, there is a king-class sacred beast hidden in this waterfall. Yi Chunfeng's eyes narrowed as he stared at the waterfall that resembled a silver dragon. Through the pouring waterfall, he could vaguely see a black hole in the middle of the waterfall. The demonic beast that he suspected to be a king-level sacred beast was hiding in the black hole. King-class sacred beast. The Chaos Divine Beast's small round eyes glowed with a fiery light. After leveling up, the effect of swallowing a mystic-class sacred beast to increase its strength was no longer obvious. If it wanted to continue recovering its strength in a short period of time, it had to hunt down a king-class sacred beast. You guys wait for me here. I'll go to the black hole behind the waterfall and see what kind of sacred beast is hidden inside. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng concealed his aura and stepped into the void to reach a height of several hundred meters. His body flashed as he broke through the rushing waterfall and rushed into the waterfall cave. Who are you? Why have you barged into this king's cave? An enraged voice rang out beside Yi Chunfeng's ear. The terrifying voice caused his eardrums to tremble slightly. He hurriedly controlled his Tao energy to seal his ears. Suicide flower. Yi Chunfeng stood at the entrance of the cave and stared at a burly man who was about 20 feet tall. His entire body was covered in purple mottling, and his muscles were bulging with explosive power. Unexpectedly, 2 trumpet-shaped flowers appeared behind him. They were sparkling and translucent, without a single trace of impurity. Their stamens were like braziers, and they were emitting spirit chi. These flowers were the suicide flowers that he had been searching for. So you're also here for the suicide flower. The burly man noticed that Yi Chunfeng's gaze was fixed on the 2 suicide flowers. His strong body immediately burst out with a shocking amount of demonic chi. He locked onto Yi Chunfeng and said, "Greedy human, die." After saying that, the burly man threw a punch at Yi Chunfeng. The terrifying fist light dragged a long demonic chi and merged with the power of space. He wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng, who had barged into his cave. Facing the burly man's fist light, Yi Chunfeng did not dodge. He stimulated the power of his 5 acupoints and waved his fist to meet it. Boom! A huge explosion resounded. The power in Yi Chunfeng's fist was shattered by the burly man's fist. The terrifying fist power bombarded Yi Chunfeng's body and directly blasted him out of the waterfall, falling outside. What a powerful force! Worthy of being a 2-star demonic Emperor King level Saint Beast. After smashing a huge hole in the ground, Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood, crawled up from the ground. His face revealed a trace of solemnity. "Chunfeng, are you okay?" Xiaowen quickly came to Yi Chunfeng's side and asked with concern. "I'm fine." Yi Chunfeng shook his head. He took a deep breath and said, "All of you back off. I'll deal with that king-level Saint Beast myself." After saying that, he summoned the upgraded Cosmos Sword formation. Holding the Eclipse Sacred Sword and Sky Kill Sword, he flew into the sky and engaged in a fierce battle with the burly man who had crashed through the waterfall. Boom! After an intense battle, Yi Chunfeng was still unable to withstand the burly man's ferocious attacks. He was blasted away by the burly man's powerful demonic chi. He crashed into an ancient tree that was a few hundred meters tall and fell to the ground. Primordial Bloodline Ignition, Sacred Fire Triple Transformation. After being injured by the burly man consecutively, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to hold back anymore. He quickly ignited his powerful bloodline power and 3 sacred fires, forcibly raising his strength to the limit of a 1-star Dao Emperor. He once again engaged in a fierce battle with the burly man. For a moment, there was a violent tremor in the radius of a few miles. A terrifying force swept through everything, raising large patches of vegetation to the ground. Chapter 1573. Puny human, be obedient and become a dead soul under my mouth. The burly man roared and ignited his powerful bloodline power. He transformed into his strongest battle form and wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng in one fell swoop. 8.1 Chinese network equals 8 less than or equal to 1 equals z less than or equal to is almost equal. Greater than or equal to c less than or equal to o greater than or equal to m. You want to kill me? You are still too weak. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Green Luan Sacred Bow and burst out with 3 billion jin of strength. He forcefully pulled the Sacred Bow and fused the 4 mystic grade Dao diagrams into the Sacred Bow. He then shot it at the burly man who was surging with killing intent. Swish! As the Green Luan Sacred Arrow flew past, a deep arrow mark appeared in the space. The fearsome Sacred Bow made the burly man feel a deep sense of danger. He instinctively dodged to the side. However, the moment he dodged, Yi Chunfeng pulled the Green Luan Sacred Bow again, forming a powerful Green Luan Sacred Arrow and shooting it at the burly man. The burly man was unable to dodge, and could only face the attack of the Green Luan Sacred Arrow head-on. PFFF. The burly man's powerful demonic energy was directly penetrated by the Green Luan Sacred Arrow. The fearsome Green Luan Sacred Arrow penetrated his defense and sent his huge body flying. Let's see how you are going to fight me without a true Spirit Saint artifact. Although the burly man was strong, He was only an ordinary sacred beast. He had left the demon race and didn't have a powerful true spirit saint artifact. When he was attacked by the Green Luan sacred bow, he instantly fell into a disadvantage. Despicable human, do you only know how to rely on treasures? Facing Yi Chunfeng's relentless attacks of the Green Luan sacred bow, the burly man dodged and cursed loudly. However, Yi Chunfeng wasn't moved. He continued to pull the bow and attack the burly man, worsening his injuries. Roar! Roar! As his injuries became more and more serious, the burly man could no longer maintain his strongest battle form. He returned to his original form, which was a demonic bull the size of a small mountain. His entire body was covered with skin as hard as rock, and his horns were as sharp as swords. He spat out mouthfuls of anger, trampled through space, and charged toward Yi Chunfeng. Swish! 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 When the demonic bull charged over, Yi Chunfeng continued to draw the Azure Luan sacred bow and shot out 3 arrows consecutively. The entire space trembled under the attack of the Green Luan sacred bow. Ao ao ao! A series of painful roars rang out. The 3 cyan phoenix sacred arrows directly shattered the attack of the demon ox and sent it flying. Its mountain-like body smashed into the distance, creating a huge crater in the ground and causing the entire ground to tremble. Universe Sword Formation, Universe Strike. When Yi Chunfeng shot the demonic bull, the incomparably sharp Qiankuan swords quickly fused together and turned into an incredibly powerful invincible divine sword. With the frightening power of space, the sword slashed towards the demonic bull. As the demon ox was too heavily injured, it was unable to dodge the attack of the Cosmos sword array. One of the swords slashed its huge body, leaving behind a sword mark that revealed its white bones. As its injuries continued to worsen, the demon ox was filled with fear. It unwillingly looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was holding onto the Green Luan sacred bow, and wanted to escape. Ancient Formation Flag, Sky Restriction. Yi Chunfeng was already prepared. The moment the demon ox tried to escape, he summoned 3 formation flags and restricted the entire space, sealing off the escape route of the demon ox. Following that, he continued to attack with the Green Luan sacred bow, riddling the demon ox's huge body with thousands of holes. Large amounts of blood gushed out from its body like a fountain, forming streams of blood that flowed out. Lowly human, if you have the guts, fight me fair and square. What's the use of external forces? The demon ox's voice was as loud as a drum as it provoked Yi Chunfeng. All right, as you wish. Out of the demon ox's expectations, Yi Chunfeng suddenly put away the Green Luan sacred bow and descended from the sky, appearing in front of the demon ox that was heavily injured. Moo! The demon ox would never let go of such an excellent opportunity. It roared towards the sky, disregarding its injuries, and attacked Yi Chunfeng. True Spirit Dragon Wrestling Fist. The demonic bull charged towards Yi Chunfeng with a suffocating pressure. Yi Chunfeng immediately transformed into his powerful true spirit body and continuously unleashed his absolute kill fist aura, which was enough to kill a true dragon, towards the demonic bull. Boom! A series of earth-shaking explosions resounded. After being continuously attacked by Yi Chunfeng's true spirit dragon wrestling fist, the demon ox was forced back. The terrifying true spirit dragon wrestling fist constantly shattered the demon ox's defense and cracked its head. After forcing the demon ox back with a few punches, Yi Chunfeng endured the pursuit and transformed into his ultimate form with 3 heads and 6 arms. He waved his 6 thick arms and burst out with over 3 billion pounds of strength as he engaged in close combat with the demon ox. Although the demon ox was incomparably powerful and had reached the level of a king-level sacred beast, it had been continuously attacked by the Green Luan sacred bow. After losing a large amount of blood, its injuries were too severe. It was simply unable to display its full strength. After fighting for half an incense stick's time, the demon ox's huge body was repeatedly blasted away by Yi Chunfeng, and its battle strength was rapidly weakening. Ao, human, even if this king dies, I will drag you to hell. Unable to withstand Yi Chenfeng's ferocious attacks, the demon ox began to go all out. It burned its powerful bloodline and demon core, exploding with the last of its strength. Like a meteor, it continuously charged towards Yi Chenfeng, wanting to smash Yi Chenfeng into pieces. True Spirit Dragon Wrestling Fist. Facing the crazy demon ox, Yi Chenfeng deduced the 4 profound level Dao diagrams to the extreme, amplifying his attack and facing the demon ox head-on in his strongest state. Although Yi Chenfeng was also under great pressure at the beginning, as the demon ox's injuries worsened, Yi Chenfeng completely gained the upper hand. The demon ox's incomparably hard head was shattered by the true spirit dragon wrestling fist, and a large amount of blood flowed out. Die! After the demon ox tested the strength of its body, Yi Chenfeng summoned the green Luan sacred bow again and shot out 3 arrows, directly piercing through the demon ox's head and crushing its soul, killing it on the spot. Chaos Divine Beast, Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, Space Devourer Bug, this demon ox's corpse is yours. The injured Yi Chenfeng put away the 3 ancient array flags and flew back to the waterfall cave, arriving in front of the 2 suicide flowers. Such pure energy, the value of this suicide flower is probably no lower than a 1-star True Spirit Saint pill. Feeling the spirituality of the suicide flower at such a close distance, Yi Chenfeng knew its value. Moreover, Yi Chenfeng had a feeling that the Misty Heaven Sect's reward for the suicide flower was not to be consumed directly, but to be refined into pills. Only then could the suicide flower's medicinal efficacy be maximized. Retrieve. With a thought, Yi Chenfeng summoned the golden sword spirit and cut off the fertile soil around the suicide flower bit by bit, transplanting them into the universe mirror. Once outside, he used the spiritual pearl of life to heal his injuries and waited for the 3 sacred beasts to devour the demon ox. About 6 hours later, Yi Chenfeng had completely healed the injuries caused by the close combat with the demon ox. As for the 3 sacred beasts, after devouring the demon ox's beast core and flesh, their strength increased by varying degrees. Especially the space devourer bug, it had begun to evolve into a high-grade sacred beast. Let's go, we will continue to enter the suicide forest and look for the suicide flower. After knowing the value of the suicide flower, Yi Chenfeng wanted to pluck a few more back. That way, he would be able to obtain a large amount of contribution points and exchange them for the necessary items to break through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm. P.S. Another 200 people on WeChat, and it can add up to another 100 people. When that time comes, Yunlei will release more updates. If you want Yunlei to release more updates, please add her WeChat account, Y1TY83. Chapter 1574. Time flew by and a month passed in the blink of an eye. 80? Chinese. Equals is not equal to equals. Less than or equal to in the past month, Yi Chenfeng had killed a king-level sacred beast and plucked 3 suicide flowers. The space-swallowing bug had successfully evolved into an upper-class sacred beast, and its ability to swallow space had become even stronger. What's that sound? As Yi Chenfeng rode the chaos divine beast deeper into the suicide forest, he sensed something was amiss. He sensed that a panicked aura was approaching him at an extremely fast speed, and behind the panicked aura, there was a frightening demonic beast following behind. Should I save her? While he was hesitating, the panicked aura was getting closer to him. Forget it. Since you've found us, I'll save your life. As he spoke, Yi Chenfeng rode his chaos divine beast forward. He saw a tall lady in a black martial arts suit. Her long, black hair danced in the wind as she ran toward them. She was in a sorry state. Behind the lady in black was a demonic tiger that was more than 10 meters long. Its entire body was glowing with golden light and the word King was shining on its forehead. Judging from the demonic tiger's aura, this demonic tiger was a king-level sacred beast and its strength was terrifying. Green Phoenix Sacred Bow. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng quickly drew the green phoenix sacred bow into the shape of a full moon and shot an arrow with all his might. A golden green phoenix sacred arrow that was infused with 4 mystic level Tao diagrams flew out and forced the ferocious demonic tiger to retreat, saving the lady in black. Humans, I didn't expect you to have a gang. I won't let you off today. The demonic tiger suddenly spoke in human language. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and let out an earth-shattering roar into the chaotic void. Soon, the entire forest became restless. Several demonic tigers that were mystic-level sacred beasts rushed over and surrounded Yi Chunfeng and the rest. Are you okay? Yi Chunfeng looked at the lady in black, who had scratches on her back and was severely injured. He quickly handed her an expensive divine elixir pill. Thank you for saving my life. I'm fine. The black-robed woman did not doubt Yi Chunfeng's intentions and quickly swallowed the saint pill to heal her injuries. Kill them. Tear them apart. The king-tier demonic tiger opened its bloody mouth and ordered. Mo Ba, come out. Facing several terrifying demon tigers, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to be careless. He quickly summoned Demon Ba. At the same time, Xia Wendy also summoned the sword puppet, which was a 6-star Dao master, to protect herself and confront a profound-level demonic tiger. End this battle. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng ignited his powerful bloodline power. With the green Luan holy bow in his hand, he continuously attacked the king-level demonic tiger, suppressing its ferocious attacks. Mid-grade True Spirit Saint Treasure. After witnessing the power of the green Luan holy bow, the black-robed woman, who had basically stabilized her injuries, was completely relieved. She summoned a mid-grade True Spirit Saint weapon and attacked a profound-level demonic tiger. She wanted to quickly kill the group of demonic tigers that were besieging them. Deep in the suicide forest, Yi Chunfeng was also very careful. He was afraid that such a fierce battle would attract more terrifying saint beasts. In that case, they would have to avoid them. Sword Puppet, Mirror Image Doppelganger. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned 2 great helpers to help him restrict the king-level demonic tiger's astonishing speed. They constantly shot at its huge body and severely injured its body. Battle Form. After experiencing the power of the green Luan holy bow, the king-level demonic tiger immediately transformed into its strongest battle form. It constantly pulled up 2 thick ancient trees and attacked Yi Chunfeng. However, Yi Chunfeng possessed an endless amount of Dao power and could continuously draw the green Luan sacred bow to attack. Gradually, the king-level demonic tiger's injuries became more and more serious. It could not withstand the attacks of the green Luan holy bow. Roar. Suddenly, a mournful scream rang out. A wounded profound-level demonic tiger's huge body was forcibly torn apart by the demon puppet. A large amount of blood and internal organs burst out in midair. It fell into a pool of blood and died. After killing a profound-level demonic tiger, the demon puppet pursued and attacked the other profound-level demonic tigers. This caused the other profound-level demonic tigers that came to help to think of retreating. Roar, I'll spare you today. The next time I see you, I'll definitely swallow all of you. The king-level demonic tiger wanted to retreat. It left behind a ruthless sentence and was about to leave. Want to leave? Not so easy. Yi Chunfeng did not want to let this king-level demonic tiger go. He wanted to summon the ancient array flag to trap it. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul force felt a demonic chi that was even more terrifying than the king-level demonic tiger. His face changed slightly and he made a prompt decision. Don't fight. There's a greater danger approaching. Let's leave this place first. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng took away the corpse of the profound-level demonic tiger. He led the group and the 2 demonic beasts to escape at an extremely fast speed. Just as Yi Chunfeng and the others left, a 3-foot-tall king-level demonic ape appeared. Its body was covered in black fur, and it was filled with explosive muscles. The demonic chi that came out of its nostrils was like a spirit snake. Looking at the wounded demonic tiger, the king-level demonic ape's eyes immediately turned blood red. It opened its bloody mouth and attacked the other demonic tigers. Although the king-level demonic tiger used its powerful strength to escape the king-level demonic ape's pursuit, the other mystic-level demonic tigers were not so lucky. Their bodies were torn apart by the terrifying king-level demonic ape, and they were swallowed into its stomach. This suicide forest is indeed dangerous. If it wasn't for the God-Eater brain's superior perception, I would have had to hide in the universe realm. Yi Chunfeng did not expect that the suicide forest would have a king-level demonic beast that was 2-star demonic emperors. He was even more fearful of this place. He led Xia Wendy and the others and ran as fast as they could. In the evening, they found a secluded valley covered in ancient trees and hid in it. "Thank you for saving my life. Sure will never forget it." The black-clothed woman felt that the danger had passed and let out a long breath. She bowed deeply to Yi Chunfeng and said gratefully. If she did not coincidentally meet Yi Chunfeng, she did not know if she would have been able to escape the king-level demonic tiger's pursuit. "Miss is too polite." Yi Chunfeng shook his head. He looked at the 1-star Dao Emperor black-clothed woman with a fiery figure that gave people a valiant feeling and exuded a different kind of beauty. He said, "Miss, why did you enter the suicide forest alone?" I entered the suicide forest because I heard that the depths of the suicide forest nurtured the suicide ancestral root. I originally wanted to find one and bring it back to celebrate my father's birthday. I did not expect the suicide forest to be so dangerous. Including the king-level demonic tiger, I have already met 3 king-level demonic beasts. The black-clothed woman sighed softly. Thinking back to the experiences of the past few days, she still had lingering fear in her heart. She regretted her recklessness even more. Suicide ancestral root. There is a suicide ancestral root in the suicide forest. Yi Chunfeng opened his eyes wide and revealed an unexpected joy. The suicide ancestral root was definitely a top-grade sacred item in the heaven domain. Not only did it have the ability to increase the chances of breaking through a bottleneck, it could also increase one's lifespan by 30,000 years. Although 30,000 years of lifespan was not much to ordinary heaven domain almighties, it was too precious to some people whose lifespan had dried up and were on the verge of death. With the suicide ancestral root, they might be able to break through the shackles of their realm in the remaining 30,000 years and live another life. Why, you are also interested in the suicide ancestral root? Seeing the light that shot out from Yi Chunfeng's eyes, the black-clothed woman asked. I am indeed quite interested in the suicide ancestral root. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "Do you know where the suicide ancestral root grows and how many roots there are?" "I have already found the suicide ancestral root. According to my observations, there should be 3 suicide ancestral roots," the black-clothed woman said. "How about this, let's work together to pluck the suicide ancestral root. After we succeed, the 3 of us will each have 1 root. How about that?" Yi Chunfeng suggested. "Alright, deal." The black-clothed woman just happened to want to find someone to help. After seeing Yi Chunfeng's shocking strength and methods, she did not even think and agreed very happily. Chapter 1575. The next morning, under the guidance of the woman in black, Yi Chunfeng and the rest left the secluded valley and headed towards the deepest part of the suicide forest. August 1st Chinese network equals less than or equal to sure. According to your observations, how many king-level saint beasts are there near the life-severing ancestral root? After a night of understanding, Yi Chunfeng knew that the woman in black was called Zhan Shishir. As for her true background, Yi Chunfeng did not ask, because he felt that even if he asked, Zhan Shishir might not tell him the truth. However, for Zhan Shishir to be able to take out a mid-rank true spirit saint artifact as a weapon, it was enough to show that her background was not simple. There should be at least 4 king-level saint beasts around the life-severing ancestral root. So if we want to dig out the life-severing ancestral root, we have to think of a way to lure the 4 king-level saint beasts away. Jean Chercheur tried her best to recall and said, 4 king-level saint beasts, it is indeed a bit troublesome. With Yi Chunfeng's current strength, he was able to fight 1 king-level saint beast, but if he was surrounded by 4 king-level saint beasts, he could only choose to avoid them and escape. However, the temptation of the life-severing ancestral root was too great, making Yi Chunfeng unable to give up. After pondering for a while, he decided to take the risk and give it a try. When we reach the place where the life-severing ancestral root is born, we have to plan and think of a way to trap the 4 king-level saint beasts. Yi Chunfeng instructed and followed Jean Chercheur as they continued to travel through the suicide forest, slowly approaching the valley where the life-severing ancestral root was born. What dense spiritual qi! This valley should be the source of the suicide forest. As they approached the valley, Yi Chunfeng felt that the spiritual qi floating in the air was getting denser and denser. Ancient trees that were hundreds of feet tall pierced the sky and covering the sun, causing the entire forest to be incomparably dark. The valley in front is the place where the life-severing ancestral root is born. The 4 king-level saint beasts are hidden in the valley. Jean Chercheur pointed at a valley filled with ancient trees and said softly, "You guys wait for me here, I'll lure the 4 king-level saint beasts out." Yi Chunfeng glanced at the valley and whispered, "Remember, no matter what happens, don't help." After he finished speaking, Yi Chunfeng concealed his aura and stealthily approached the valley like an erratic ghost. He summoned 3 ancient formation flags outside the valley and hid them in 3 ancient trees in a triangular formation. Flying into the valley, Yi Chunfeng hid behind a strange craggy rock and controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the situation in the valley. What a terrifying demonic qi! Just as I thought, there are even more powerful demonic beasts in this valley. When the power of the God-Eater brain covered the entire valley, Yi Chunfeng could feel the aura of a demonic beast that had almost reached the limit of a king-level sacred beast, apart from the 4 king-level sacred beasts that Jean Chercheur had mentioned. However, he did not sense the aura of the life-severing ancestral root. Clearly, the life-severing ancestral root was using the power of the source of the mountain range to conceal itself. It won't be easy to pluck the life-severing ancestral root. Yi Chunfeng wasn't sure how many saint beasts he could trap with his traps, but he was determined to get the life-severing ancestral root and had to give it a try. Sword puppet, go! With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the sword puppet and ordered it to go deep into the valley to lure the king-level saint beasts. Roar! Sensing the existence of the sword puppet, the king-level saint beasts that had resided in the valley for countless years were enraged and let out earth-shattering roars. Following that, the king-level demonic tiger that had chased after Jean Chercheur crawled out from a bottomless cave. It opened its bloody mouth and bit the sword puppet, wanting to bite the sword puppet to death for trespassing into their territory. Mirror image clone, go! While the sword puppet was fighting with the king-level demonic tiger, Yi Chunfeng split out his mirror image clone and flew towards the valley. Roar! Lowly human, you still dare to come here? I will definitely destroy you today. The king-level demonic tiger recognized the mirror image clone and let out a furious roar. Roar! Hearing the sounds of battle coming from outside the valley, a pitch-black demonic leopard with ferocious eyes and 2 demonic wolves with wings on their backs appeared. They were more than 8 meters long and had fangs as sharp as swords. They attacked the sword spirit puppet and mirror image doppelganger. Sigh! Seeing that the mirror image clone and the sword puppet had failed to lure out the most powerful demonic beast, Yi Chunfeng hesitated for a moment before immediately ordering the sword puppet and mirror image clone to break out of the valley. He was afraid that if he delayed any longer, the mirror image clone would be torn apart by the savage king-level saint beasts. If that happened, he might not even be able to lure out the 4 king-level Saint Beasts. Roar! Roar! When the 4 king-level Saint Beasts saw that the mirror image clone and the sword puppet were no match for them, they roared furiously and chased after them. They were determined to kill the 2 who had trespassed on their territory. Under the ferocious attacks of the 4 king-level Saint Beasts, the mirror image clone's injuries worsened. By the time it escaped from the valley, half of its body had been torn apart by the king-level demonic wolf. Die, human! The demonic tiger roared furiously as it opened its bloody mouth and bit down on the mirror image clone's head. Its sharp fangs pierced through the mirror image clone and crushed it. The moment the mirror image clone was crushed, the king-level demonic tiger sensed that something was wrong and suddenly stopped. However, the other 3 king-level Saint Beasts had already chased after the sword puppet and arrived at the forbidden space of the 3 ancient array flags. Lines of array runes filled the space and instantly trapped the 3 king-level Saint Beasts. It's a trap. Seeing the 3 king-level Saint Beasts disappear in front of its eyes, the highly intelligent king-level demonic tiger immediately guessed that it was a trap and was about to retreat into the valley. However, at this moment, Yi Chunfeng, who had burned his primordial blood and increased his strength by 3 times, appeared behind the king-level demonic tiger. He unleashed a strength of more than 3 billion Jin and was like a towering mountain as he ruthlessly slammed into the king-level demonic tiger. Boom! The king-level demonic tiger's huge body trembled as it lost control of its huge body and was thrown into the air. True Spirit Dragon Fighting Fist. Following that, Yi Chunfeng continuously used his extremely powerful True Spirit Saint technique and blasted out streaks of fist radiance that were powerful enough to kill a real dragon. They bombarded the king-level demonic tiger's huge body and sent it flying into the forbidden space of the ancient array flags. Success. After successfully trapping the 4 king-level Saint Beasts, Zhan Shishir, who was hiding in the bushes, revealed an extremely excited expression. In her opinion, with the 4 king-level Saint Beasts trapped, there would be no more danger in the valley. She could easily pluck the life-extinguishing ancestral root and bring it back to celebrate her father's birthday. Ancient Sky Shrouding Diagram Seal. The 4 heaven-level Saint Beasts were too terrifying. Yi Chunfeng was afraid that something unexpected would happen, so he summoned the Ancient Sky Shrouding Diagram and increased the power of the seal. He shouted loudly, "Let's go, let's enter the valley." After saying that, Yi Chunfeng led the 2 girls who had been waiting for a long time, as well as the 2 Saint Beasts into the valley that was rich in heaven spirit chi and had a pleasant scenery. Shishir, do you have any formation or powerful trump cards on you? When they were deep into the valley, Yi Chunfeng transmitted his voice and asked, "Big brother Yi, do you think there is still danger in this valley?" The extremely intelligent Zhan Shishir asked. "Yes, I just felt that there is an even more terrifying demonic beast at the end of the valley. And that demonic beast's strength is probably comparable to a 4-star demonic emperor. We must deal with it with all our strength." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, 4-star demonic emperor." Zhan Shishir's beautiful big eyes widened, revealing a deep sense of worry. Although she still had a life-saving trump card on her, she was definitely not a match for a 4-star demonic emperor. Facing such a terrifying existence, she could only give up on the life-severing ancestral root. Shishir, if you have any formation or powerful trump cards on you, we still have a chance," Yi Chunfeng said. "I have an Emperor Exploding Stone here. It can instantly kill an ordinary Emperor-level expert, but the demonic beast's physical body is far stronger than the various races. Plus, a 4-star demonic emperor is too terrifying. Only by detonating this Emperor Exploding Stone at a close distance can we have a chance of seriously injuring the 4-star demonic emperor." Zhan Shishir took out a jet-black crystal that contained a terrifying energy from her Qianquan ring and said, "With this Emperor Exploding Stone, it will be easy." Yi Chunfeng said in his heart, sure, if you trust me, then give this Emperor exploding stone to me. I will deal a fatal blow to that king-level saint beast. Okay. Be careful. Zhang Shishir nodded and gave the incomparably precious Emperor exploding stone to Yi Chunfeng. Chapter 1576. Roar. Lowly humans, what are you doing here? An angry roar resounded. A 10-meter-long lion covered in purple lion fur leaped out of a pit with a large number of blooming flowers. It opened its bloody mouth and roared loudly. It was a majestic lion with a towering demonic aura. It was over 10 meters long, and its whole body was covered in purple lion fur. Golden light flashed in its bell-sized eyes. Ba? Chinese? Net? Z? Com? The golden eye mutant blood lion. The rumors are true. It's the guardian of the life-severing ancestral root. Zhang Shishir looked at the roaring purple lion, and her beautiful face couldn't help but reveal a trace of seriousness. The golden eye mutant blood lion was an ancient mutant species. Its bloodline power was terrifying, and its battle prowess far exceeded that of a sacred beast of the same level. It posed a great threat to Yi Chunfeng's group. Little Mosquito, we'll use the sword puppet as the main defense. We'll take the initiative and deal with it together. Although the golden eye mutant blood lion was terrifying, Yi Chunfeng realized that not only was the life-severing ancestral root nurtured here, but there were also at least 1,000 life-severing flowers. If he could pluck all the life-severing flowers here, he would be able to exchange them for a large amount of contribution points when he returned to the ethereal heaven sect. Okay. Xia Wendy nodded and summoned the sword puppet with Yi Chunfeng, preparing to face the golden eye mutant blood lion head-on. The aura of a divine beast. I can feel the aura of a divine beast in your body. The golden eye mutant blood lion's eyes shone with golden light as it stared at the divine beast of chaos. It could feel the powerful bloodline of a divine beast in its body, which made it greedy. If it could devour the descendant of a divine beast, it might be able to break the shackles of its body and reach a level it didn't even dare to imagine. F***ck you big lion, let's see who's going to eat who today. The divine beast of chaos opened its bloody mouth and said without backing down. Now attack with all your might. The ancient bronze coffin suddenly broke through the universe realm and charged at the golden eye mutant blood lion with hundreds of millions of pounds of force. Roar! The golden-eyed blood lion let out a furious roar. It stretched out its powerful lion claws and slapped the ancient bronze coffin. The terrifying power directly sent the ancient bronze coffin flying. The moment the ancient coffin was sent flying, Mo-Ba flew out of the ancient coffin. Holding a dragon-patterned broadsword that weighed several hundred pounds, he slashed at the head of the golden-eyed blood lion. Roar! The golden-eyed blood lion opened its bloody mouth, and a large amount of demonic energy gushed out like a black river, bombarding Demon Ba, shattering his attack and sending him flying in the air. Green Luan's sacred bow shoot. Yi Chunfeng seized the opportunity when the golden-eyed bloodline lion was attacking Mo-Ba. He leaped high into the air, pulled the green Luan's sacred bow into the shape of a full moon, and shot at it. Swish swish. An ear-piercing sound of friction rang out. The Cyan Phoenix sacred arrows, which were filled with terrifying Tao power and power, kept attacking the golden eye mutated blood lion, trying to pierce through its body. Bloodline golden armor. At this critical moment, the golden eye mutated blood lion used its inherited magic, mobilizing the powerful bloodline power in its body. A thick layer of golden armor covered its body, blocking the attack of the green Luan sacred bow. Chaos mountain body. The chaos divine beast fell from the sky, and its huge body turned into a mini mountain. With a force of more than 2 billion pounds, it smashed into the golden eye mutated blood lion's huge body. However, the golden eye mutated blood lion's defense was too terrifying. The chaos mountain body that the chaos divine beast turned into could not hurt it at all. Instead, it was shaken and sent flying by the furious golden-eye mutated blood lion with a slap. It flew hundreds of meters away, smashing a big hole in the mountain in the distance. What a strong defense! Yi Chunfeng did not expect the golden-eye mutated blood lion's defense to be so terrifying. The Green Luan's sacred bow could not hurt it at all, and the combined power of everyone still could not hurt its body. Roar! When Yi Chunfeng's face turned serious, the golden-eye mutated blood lion's huge body suddenly expanded, and it opened its huge lion mouth. It let out a series of piercing roars that attacked Yi Chunfeng's soul. Not good. Retreat. The golden-eye mutated blood lion's sonic attack was too powerful. Yi Chunfeng summoned the 4 profound level Dao diagrams and turned them into a boundless sea of Dao intent in front of him to weaken the lion's roar attack. At the same time, he led everyone to retreat quickly. Although Yi Chunfeng and the others had retreated in time, the golden-eye mutated blood lion's roar was too terrifying. The sea of Dao intent formed by the 4 profound level Dao diagrams was shattered like rotten wood. They were also shaken to the point of bleeding from their 7 orifices and were in great pain. After injuring Yi Chunfeng and the others with a roar, the golden-eyed mutated blood lion's enormous body suddenly burst forth with a beam of demonic purple light as it pounced towards Yi Chunfeng and the others, wanting to take advantage of this opportunity to bite them to death. "You guys keep retreating," Yi Chunfeng ordered as the golden-eye mutated blood lion flew toward them. He ignored his own safety and went to meet it head-on. At the same time, the extremely powerful Emperor Exploding Rock appeared in his hand. 4 times the time. The moment Yi Chunfeng and the golden-eyed mutated blood lion collided, Yi Chunfeng suddenly accelerated the flow of time by 4 times. Before the golden-eyed mutated blood lion could react, Yi Chunfeng collided with its strong body. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng bore the brunt of the impact and crushed the Emperor Exploding Stone. A powerful explosion spread out and engulfed them in an instant. "Big brother, Yi will be fine, right?" Zhang Shirshir, who was hiding in the distance, saw Yi Chunfeng and the golden-eye mutated blood lion being annihilated in the explosion of the Emperor Exploding Rock and suddenly became nervous. She was very clear about the explosive power of the Emperor Exploding Rock. It could even shatter a mid-grade True Spirit Saint artifact and kill a 3-star Dao Emperor. She couldn't help but worry about Yi Chunfeng's safety. "Don't worry. He has 100 lives. He will be fine." Looking at the nervous Zhang Shirshir, Xiao Wendai frowned slightly and said in a neutral tone, "Ao ao ao." As the explosion became more and more intense, an angry roar rang out. The golden bloodline armor was shattered. The golden-eye mutated blood lion, who was covered in injuries, struggled with all its might in the center of the explosion. It dragged its bloody body and escaped from the destructive storm. Buzz buzz. The moment it escaped, the 2 sword puppets that had been waiting for a long time turned into 2 invincible crescent moon sword slashes. They were like 2 crescent moons that had fallen to the mortal world. They ruthlessly slashed at the golden-eye mutated blood lion's huge body, shaking it and trying to send it back into the destructive storm. Although the golden-eye mutated blood lion was severely injured, its strength was comparable to a 4-star Dao Emperor. It was not something that the 2 sword puppets could compare to. Withstanding the attacks of the 2 sword puppets, the golden-eye mutated blood lion opened its bloody mouth and spat out a large amount of demonic light. It directly sent the 2 sword puppets flying. True Spirit Fighting Dragon Fist. At this time, Yi Chunfeng left the universal realm and transformed into his true spirit body. He jumped onto the golden-eye mutated blood lion's huge body and continuously blasted the fighting dragon fist. He bombarded the golden-eye mutated blood lion's head and worsened its injuries. "Ao ao." The golden-eye mutated blood lion roared in pain. Its long lion tail whipped towards Yi Chunfeng like a whip. Space partition. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng was about to be hit by the lion's tail, He suddenly used the law of space and forcibly separated the space behind him to resist the lion's tail attack. He continued to use the true spirit fighting dragon fist to attack the golden eye mutated blood lion's head. The terrifying strength and concentrated attacks smashed the golden eye mutated blood lion's huge head to the ground. Battle form. The golden eye mutated blood lion's injuries continued to worsen. It was furious. When it forcefully flung Yi Qinfeng away, it transformed into its strongest battle form. Its terrifying demonic energy soared into the sky like smoke signals, threatening the lives of Yi Qinfeng and the others. Chapter 1577. This golden eye mutated blood lion is indeed an ancient mutated species. Its combat power is too formidable. Yi Qinfeng did not expect that the golden eye mutated blood lion's combat power would not decrease even after being severely injured by the Emperor exploding rock. 8.1. Chinese 8.1.1 Z 1 C101 M. Sure. Do you have any high-grade or supreme-grade heaven crystals on you? Xia Wendy, who was hiding far away and could not help, was very anxious. She had no choice but to seek help from Zhang Sure. Yes, I have 1 supreme-grade heaven crystal and more than 10,000 high-grade heaven crystals. Zhang Sure nodded. Great. Xia Wendy was overjoyed. She revealed a look of surprise and said, Sure, can you give me your supreme-grade and high-grade heaven crystals? They can help us turn the tide and kill the golden eye mutated blood lion. Okay, no problem. Supreme-grade heaven crystals might be precious, but they could not be compared to the life-severing ancestral root. In addition, Zhang Sure had an extraordinary background. Without hesitation, she took out her supreme-grade and high-grade heaven crystals and gave them to Xia Wendy. Sword puppet, come back. With enough energy stones, Xia Wendy immediately called back her sword puppet. She fused the supreme-grade and high-grade heaven crystals into the sword puppet's body. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After fusing with enough energy, the sword puppet's strength rose steadily. It easily surpassed the Tao Emperor realm, and its combat power soared. In the blink of an eye, the sword puppet's combat power reached the 4-star Tao Emperor realm. Its terrifying aura shocked Zhang Sure. Sister Xia, what grade is this puppet of yours? How can it be so powerful? Zhang Sure looked at the sword puppet's strength and asked in shock. I don't know. Qingfeng and I got it by chance. Xia Wendy said vaguely. She did not reveal the spirit tribe's inheritance. Go kill that big lion. With a thought, Xia Wendy lent the low-grade clear feather spirit saber to the sword puppet and ordered. Holding the clear feather spirit blade, the sword puppet attacked the golden-eyed mutant blood lion with an interweaving sword momentum. The terrifying blade radiance pierced through the heavens and the earth and sent the golden-eyed mutant blood lion flying. A deep cut was left on the lion's huge body, revealing its white bones. Ao. Under the relentless attacks of the sword puppet, the injuries of the golden-eyed blood lion became more and more serious. However, its counterattacks were unable to harm the sword puppet at all, which made it angrier and angrier. Its terrible roar shook the heavens and the earth, lingering for a long time. Green Luan's sacred bow, shoot. When the sword puppet was completely suppressing the golden eye mutated blood lion, Yi Qinfeng deduced his Tao will to the extreme. He gripped the blue Luan sacred bow tightly and assisted the sword puppet in attacking the golden eye mutated blood lion, constantly blasting its powerful body. As its injuries became more and more serious, the golden-eyed mutant blood lion wanted to retreat and escape. Boss, don't let it escape. The blood of the golden-eyed mutant blood lion is very precious and beneficial to us. Seeing that the golden-eyed mutant blood lion was about to escape, the divine beast of chaos immediately shouted at the top of his voice. Don't worry, it can't escape. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng summoned his life treasure, the Chaos Divine Wood. Under his control, the Chaos Divine Wood grew larger and larger until it became a towering ancient tree. It then fell from the sky and attacked the golden-eyed mutated blood lion. Boom! The golden-eyed mutant blood lion, who was seriously injured and unable to dodge, was hit by the Chaos Divine Wood. Its huge body trembled and fell to the ground. The next moment, tens of thousands of five-colored roots broke through the golden-eyed mutant blood lion's body and took root in its body, forcibly suppressing it. Ao ao ao. Suppressed by the Chaos Divine Wood, the golden-eyed mutant blood lion roared in despair and struggled with all its might. However, its injuries were too serious and it could not break free from the Chaos Divine Wood's suppression. Everyone, attack together. Let's kill it together. At this time, Yi Chunfeng called Xia Wendy and the others to attack the golden-eyed mutant blood lion together, crushing its ferocious lion head. After about 30 minutes, the golden-eyed mutant blood lion's huge head was smashed by Yi Chunfeng and the others. It fell into the blood basin and died. Phew, finally killed it. Looking at the corpse of the golden-eyed mutant blood lion, Yi Chunfeng heaved a long sigh of relief. If not for Zhang Shushu's help, he would have to forcibly awaken the torch dragon to kill it. Chaos, Dragon Blood Lion, Space Swallower, this golden-eyed mutant blood lion's body is yours. Let's go and dig up the life-terminating ancestral root. Without wasting any time, Yi Chunfeng split his mirror image doppelganger and told it to dig up the life-terminating flower. He took the two girls to the cave where the golden-eyed mutant blood lion lived to look for the legendary life-terminating ancestral root. So deep, this cave is so deep. Yi Chunfeng and the others quickly dived down a few thousand meters, but they still had not reached the end. However, they felt that the Ling Qi in the air was getting denser and denser. He felt that the life-terminating ancestral root was in the deepest part of this cave. After about half an incense's time, Yi Chunfeng and the others arrived at the deepest part of the cave. They were blocked by a powerful spatial seal. Golden Sword Spirit Break. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng's golden sword spirit broke out of his sea of soul. It shone with a blinding golden light and attacked the seal that contained the powerful ancestral rhythm. Ka ka ka. Under the attack of the golden sword soul, the ancestral rhyme restriction kept on cracking, and a huge crack appeared. Come, let's go in. Yi Chunfeng exploded with over 1 billion gene of strength and forcibly tore open the seal. He brought the two girls to the end of the cave. When Yi Chunfeng summoned several moonlight stones and illuminated the pitch-black space, he discovered that there was an ancient tree that was more than 3 meters tall. Its leaves were milky white, and there were 6 dragon-shaped roots hanging down from it. And the 6 dragon-shaped roots were the life-terminating ancestral root that Yi Chunfeng and the others were looking for. Heavens, could this be the life-terminating ancestral tree? Looking at the 3-meter-tall ancient tree that emitted a powerful ancestral rhythm, Zhang Shushu revealed a look of pleasant surprise. She did not expect that this place would not only nurture the life-terminating ancestral root, but also nurture a life-terminating ancestral tree that was even more precious than the life-terminating ancestral root. Big Brother Yi, I know my request is a bit unreasonable, but I want this life-terminating ancestral tree. Zhang Shushu gently bit her lips and said embarrassedly, but I won't take advantage of Big Brother Yi for nothing. I can give you 2 mid-grade True Spirit Saint swords and give you all the life-terminating ancestral root. Sure. It was all thanks to Zhang Shushu that they were able to find this place. Moreover, in order to kill the golden pupil variant blood lion, she had sacrificed enough. In addition, the mid-grade True Spirit Saint swords were very useful to Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy, so he happily agreed. Thank you, Big Brother Yi, you really are a good person. Zhang Shushu did not expect Yi Chunfeng to agree so readily. She excitedly hugged his arm and said gratefully. She took out 2 mid-grade True Spirit Saint swords and gave them to them. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy did not stand on ceremony and accepted the 2 mid-grade True Spirit Saint swords. With these 2 swords, their attack power would greatly increase, and killing people above their level would be easy. Let's go pick the life-terminating ancestral root and subdue that life-terminating ancestral tree. With that, Yi Chunfeng brought the two girls and slowly approached the life-terminating ancestral tree that was rooted in the life-terminating forest's ancestral vein. Chapter 1578. Ka. When Yi Chunfeng and Zhang Shishir got closer, they suddenly felt the ground beneath their feet tremble. August 8th language? August 1st? Z/1. C. O/M? Black tree roots that were like venomous snakes broke out of the hard ground and attacked Yi Chunfeng and company, not giving them a chance to get close. Golden Sword Soul break. Facing the attack of the black tree roots, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the Golden Sword Soul to slash. After evolving into the Golden Sword Soul, the Golden Sword Soul's attack power was comparable to a mid-grade True Spirit Saint artifact. However, when it slashed at the black tree roots, it only managed to sever one of them. This surprised Yi Chunfeng. As for Xia Wendai and Zhang Shishir, their attacks didn't even manage to sever a single tree root. All of a sudden, they were in danger. At the critical moment, the Sword Spirit Puppet, whose battle prowess had skyrocketed to that of a 4-star Dao Emperor after fusing with the supreme-grade Heaven Crystal and a large number of high-grade Heaven Crystals, made its move. It held the clear Feather Spirit Saber in its hand and slashed out. A saber light that traversed the void cut off the space and shattered the tree roots that were attacking Yi Chunfeng and the other two. Green Luan Saint Bao. Yi Chunfeng ignited his primordial blood and forcefully pulled the Green Luan Saint Bao. The 4 mystic Dao diagrams that were deduced to the extreme were fused into the Green Luan Saint Bao and turned into an extremely powerful Green Luan Saint Arrow. It left a deep arrow mark in the air and shot towards the fate-severing ancestral tree. Puny humans, you think you can harm this ancestor? Be obedient and become this ancestor's fertilizer. An old face appeared on the thick tree trunk of the fate-severing ancestral tree. It spewed out a large amount of ancestral rhyme that struck the Green Luan Saint Arrow and shattered it. Strong, too strong. This fate-severing ancestral tree is definitely stronger than the Golden Eye Mutant Blood Lion. The fate-severing ancestral tree's strength was beyond Yi Chunfeng's expectation. However, Yi Chunfeng wasn't afraid. With a thought, he summoned the primal chaos divine wood and controlled it to attack the fate-severing ancestral tree. What ancient tree is this? The tree spirit of the life-saving ancestral tree sensed the chaos divine wood's chaotic energy and cautiously said, "Chaos divine wood, restrain it." Although the chaos divine wood was slightly weaker than the matured life-severing ancestral tree, it was still one of the 3 strongest divine woods in the universe. Yi Chunfeng believed that it had the power to counter the life-severing ancestral tree. Rumble! The life-severing progenitor tree immediately shook its treetop and unleashed a powerful progenitor rhyme, bombarding the chaos divine wood in an attempt to shatter it. Don't hesitate, attack with all your might. Seizing the opportunity when the life-severing progenitor tree attacked the chaos divine wood, Yi Chunfeng and the others summoned their respective treasures and executed their strongest secret arts to attack the life-severing progenitor tree with all their might, weakening its power. Under the full-powered attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the others, the ancestral rhyme of the life-severing progenitor tree was constantly being dispersed. The Chaos Divine Wood withstood the attacks of the ancestral rhyme and extended its 5-colored roots into the life-severing progenitor tree. Ancestral Vein Dragon, kill them all! The life-severing progenitor tree panicked when the Chaos Divine Wood broke through its tree body. It immediately channeled the power of the ancestral vein and broke out of the chaotic ground. It turned into a 100-meter-long true dragon covered in flowing innate ancestral veins. It roared and attacked Yi Chunfeng and the others. Sword Puppet, block it! The life-severing forest's ancestral vein was extremely terrifying. The true dragon it turned into was not much weaker than the life-severing progenitor tree. Yi Chunfeng and the others did not dare to face it head-on. They could only let the sword puppet defend with all its might. Boom! The ancestral vein dragon crashed into the sword puppet's body. The terrifying power depleted 1/10 of the sword puppet's energy and left tiny cracks on its tough body. What a terrifying attack! Yi Chunfeng knew the sword puppet's defense very well. Back then, he used the Azure Phoenix bow to shoot out who knows how many arrows before damaging its body. However, the ancestral vein dragon shattered it with a single collision. It was evident just how terrifying the ancestral vein dragon was. Green Luan's sacred bow, shoot. When the ancestral vein dragon attacked the sword puppet, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and pushed his Tao will to the limit. He pulled the Azure Phoenix bow to the limit and attacked the ancestral vein dragon, damaging its body. When Yi Chunfeng and the others attacked the ancestral vein dragon, the life-severing progenitor tree went berserk. It controlled a large number of black roots to break through the tough ground and attack the Chaos Divine Wood. It wanted to break into the Chaos Divine Wood and take back the ancestral aura it had devoured. Although the Chaos Divine Wood was not fully grown, it was not something the life-severing progenitor tree could destroy. The roots that were as tough as iron could not penetrate the Chaos Divine Wood's body. However, the 5-colored roots extended from the Chaos Divine Wood and broke into every corner of its roots, attacking the tree spirit directly. Once the tree spirit was destroyed, the life-severing progenitor tree would lose all battle power and be at the mercy of others. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, 9 Heavens Imperial Jade Seal, True Demonic Hand, Demon Emperor Furnace. In order to restrain the ancestral vein dragon, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to summon one supreme grade saint artifact after another to complement the Azure Phoenix bow's ferocious attacks. In addition, Zhan Shirshir summoned what seemed to be an upper-grade true spirit saint artifact. It was like a skull that was filled with powerful battle intent. Xia Wendi was constantly using 9 slashes through the firmament, and Mo Ba was crazily attacking. The ancestral vein dragon's attacks were constantly weakened, and the damage it dealt to the sword puppet became smaller and smaller. Boundless 3-foot sword. Yi Chunfeng held the heavenly imperial sacred sword that Zhan Shirshir had given him. After fusing with the golden sword soul, he slashed out a sword that evolved the boundless Tao, slashing towards the cracked ancestral vein dragon's massive body. Under the amplification of the golden sword soul, the terrifying boundless sword directly cut through the ancestral vein dragon's massive body. Following that, Zhan Shirshir controlled the war skull and bit the ancestral vein dragon's heavily injured abdomen, forcefully biting out a huge hole in its massive body. Seizing the opportunity when the ancestral vein dragon was heavily injured, Yi Chunfeng continuously pulled back the Azure Phoenix bow. Xia Wendi, sword puppet, Zhan Shirshir, and Mo Ba also attacked at the same time. Under everyone's ferocious attacks, the ancestral vein dragon's entire body was forcefully torn apart. Universe Realm, Devour. The ancestral vein root was definitely a good item. If it was fused into the Universe Realm, it would greatly increase the spirituality of the Universe Realm. When Yi Chunfeng controlled the Universe Realm to successfully devour half of the ancestral vein root, the Chaos Divine Wood was also in an intense battle with the life-severing progenitor tree. It had the absolute advantage. The tens of thousands of roots that broke into the ancestral vein tree constantly attacked the tree spirit, trying to kill it. Golden Sword Soul, destroy the tree spirit. When the old face that appeared on the life-severing progenitor tree's thick trunk roared in pain, Yi Chunfeng controlled the golden sword soul to fly over and forcefully split open the tough trunk, helping the Chaos Divine Wood attack the tree spirit that the life-severing progenitor tree gave birth to. Under the dual attacks of the Chaos Divine Wood and the golden sword soul, the tree spirit's injuries became more and more serious before it was finally killed. Without the tree spirit, the life-severing progenitor tree immediately calmed down and stopped its attack. Shirshir, this life-severing progenitor tree is yours. I will take away the 6 ancestral vein roots. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Wood and the Golden Sword Soul, as well as cut off the 6 spiritual ancestral vein roots that the ancestral vein tree gave birth to. "Thank you, Brother Yi, Sister Xia," Zhan Shishir said gratefully. She immediately controlled her saber and cut open the soil around the life-severing progenitor tree that was nourished by the ancestral aura. She moved the life-severing progenitor tree along with its roots into a universe ring. "Alright, there's nothing valuable here. Let's go." With that, Yi Chunfeng and the rest left the cave that was filled with cracks and could collapse at any time and returned to the valley. Chapter 1579. 3 days later. 8.1. Chinese network equals is not equal to is almost equal to. Is almost equal to 8 is equal to 1 is not equal to z equals greater than or equal. Greater than or equal to. So Yi Chunfeng and his group left the suicide forest without a hitch. On this trip, not only did Yi Chunfeng pluck over 1,200 suicide flowers, he also obtained 6 suicide ancestral roots that could increase one's lifespan by 30,000 years. He also obtained a mid-grade True Spirit Saint artifact from Zhan Shishir. More importantly, the Chaos Divine Beasts, Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, and Space Swallowers had swallowed large amounts of demonic cores and Saint Beast blood essences. They had all begun to evolve. Once their ranks increased, it would greatly increase Yi Chunfeng's ability to protect himself in the heaven domain. "Big Brother Yi, Sister Xia, thank you so much this time. If it wasn't for you, not only would I not be able to obtain the suicide ancestral tree, I might even lose my life in the suicide forest. When there's a chance, come find me at the ancient war city of the battle domain. I'll bring you around the battle domain." After obtaining the suicide ancestral tree, Zhan Shishir gave each of them a communication disc array. After bidding farewell to the 2 of them, she was about to leave on her Saint Beast. "Wait!" Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng appeared beside Zhan Shishir and grabbed her soft little hand with a serious expression. "What's wrong, Big Brother Yi? What happened?" Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was grabbing her little hand tightly, Zhan Shishir revealed a trace of doubt. "There's danger, let's enter the suicide forest." Yi Chunfeng made a prompt decision to bring Zhan Shishir and Xia Wendy back to the suicide forest to hide. "Interesting, I didn't expect you to discover this emperor's existence." A bone-chilling voice suddenly rang out. A tall and burly man in a black robe appeared in the air. His long black hair danced in the wind, and his deep eyes flowed with intense demonic qi. The moment he appeared, a boundless pressure surged out of his body. It was like a towering mountain that pressed down on Yi Chunfeng and the other 2. What a terrifying demonic qi! Could this person be a 6-star demon emperor of the demon race? Looking at the black-robed man before him, Yi Chunfeng felt his heart palpitate. This was a feeling that would only appear when facing the Dark North Lord. However, this person's strength was far inferior to the Lord of the Dark North. Yi Chunfeng guessed that this person was most likely a 6-star demon emperor expert. "Black Rock Emperor, why are you here?" Looking at the black-robed man standing in midair, Zhan Shishir's expression changed, and she couldn't help but take a step back. "Princess Shishir, you don't have to be nervous. I have no ill intentions and will not harm you. I just want to invite you to the Black Demon tribe as a guest." The Black Rock Emperor smiled faintly as he looked at the slightly pale Zhan Shishir. "I won't go with you to the Black Devil clan," Zhan Shishir said unyieldingly as she tried to think of a way to escape. "It's not up to you," the Black Rock Emperor said coldly. He was about to capture Zhan Shishir and kill Yi Chunfeng and his companion. "Big Brother Yi, Big Sister Xia, don't worry about me. Leave this place. Otherwise, he will kill you." Zhan Shishir was well aware of the Black Rock Emperor's methods. "Don't worry, he won't be able to kill us." Yi Chunfeng stared at the Black Rock Emperor, hesitating whether he should forcefully awaken the divine demon Torch Dragon and borrow its strength to kill the Black Rock Emperor. While they were talking, a heaven-covering hand with astonishing power broke out of the Black Rock Emperor's body and grabbed at Jean Chercheur with a suffocating force. Sword puppet block. Xia Wendy and Yi Chunfeng looked at each other and immediately controlled the sword puppet, which was comparable to a 4-star Dao Emperor, to block the attack. The sword puppet turned its body into a sword and slashed at the heaven-covering hand like a crescent moon. Its terrifying sword might wanted to split the hand apart. An ant will always be an ant. An ant will never be able to shake a tree. The Black Rock Emperor's eyes narrowed as he slammed his palm down again. The terrifying palm light directly pressed the sword puppet down from midair and smashed a large hole in the ground. Torch Dragon, I'm in danger now. Help me. Yi Chunfeng, who had dodged to the side, immediately used his mind to summon the divine demon Torch Dragon, wanting to wake it up. Black Rock Emperor, aren't you looking down on my war tribe by bullying the princess of my war tribe? Before the divine demon Torch Dragon could wake up, a distant female voice sounded from afar. In the next instant, an illusory figure streaked across the sky, carrying with it a shocking battle intent as she appeared beside Jean Chercheur. Shadow War God. Seeing the curvaceous woman in golden armor, the Black Rock Emperor's expression changed slightly, and his arrogance instantly disappeared. What a terrifying aura! This Shadow War God is actually an expert on the same level as the Dark North Lord. Seeing the sudden appearance of the woman in golden armor, Yi Chunfeng was greatly shocked. It could be said that the Shadow War God was the strongest expert he had seen since ascending to the heaven region. Against an expert of this level, even if he hid in the universe realm, it would be useless. Good. Today I'll give you face, Shadow War God. The Black Rock Emperor said ruthlessly and wanted to leave. Leave? Do you think you can leave? The Shadow War God took a light step forward, and the entire space underwent an earth-shattering change. The terrifying battle intent was like an erupting volcano, permeating the entire space and forming a battle-intent prison, directly trapping the Black Rock Emperor inside. Shadow War God, does your war tribe want to break off relations with my Black Demon tribe? Although the Black Rock Emperor was a 6-star Demon Emperor, the difference in strength between him and the Shadow War God was too great. It could be said that in front of the Shadow War God, he was like a child who had just learned how to walk, unable to withstand a single blow. What, do you think my war tribe is afraid of your Black Demon tribe? The Shadow War God said domineeringly. If your Black Demon tribe wants to fight with my war tribe will accompany you. But I'm afraid you won't live to see that day. As she spoke, an invincible battle blade appeared in the Shadow War God's hand. She slashed the void, and the entire space seemed to be cut in half by this blade, slashing towards the Black Rock Emperor, whose expression changed drastically. At this moment of life and death, the Black Rock Emperor constantly used his astonishing defensive trump cards to block the attack. However, the Shadow War God's strength was too terrifying. With a single slash, the Black Rock Emperor's defensive trump cards were all destroyed. Although the Black Rock Emperor used his trump cards to dodge the attack, he was still injured by the aftershock of the slash and his body was covered in crack. Wait, don't kill me. As long as you're willing to let me go, I'm willing to agree to any of your conditions. At this moment of life and death, the Black Rock Emperor began to beg for mercy, begging the Shadow War God to spare his life. After all, there were hundreds of millions of Heaven Domain cultivators, and those who could cultivate to the 6-star Demon Emperor level could be counted on one hand. If he was killed, all of the Black Rock Emperor's efforts would turn to dust. Sure, can you have the Shadow War God heavily injure him and send him to me? Seeing the Black Rock Emperor's terrifying strength, Yi Chunfeng had the idea of using the Soul Devourer's brain to control him. If he could control the Black Rock Emperor, he wouldn't need to disturb the Shining Dragon God. Sure. Jean Chercheur revealed a surprised expression. She glanced at Yi Chunfeng and immediately sent a voice transmission to the Shadow War God. After receiving Jean Chercher's voice transmission, the Shadow War God frowned slightly. In a flash, she appeared in front of the shocked Black Rock Emperor and fiercely attacked him. In less than 20 breaths, the Black Rock Emperor, who was like a pile of mud and covered in blood, fell to the ground and fainted, not moving at all. P.S. The public account is about to reach 10 million. Everyone, please add. When it reaches 10 million, I'll update 5 times. Cloud Tier Public Account, Y1TY83. Chapter 1580. Thank you. Yi Chunfeng was secretly delighted when he saw the unconscious Black Rock Emperor lying in a pool of blood. He bowed deeply to the Shadow War God and spoke gratefully. 8th High School? 1. Junior, the Black Rock Emperor is a peak 6-star Devil Emperor, and he's already halfway into the 1-star Downlord realm. If you intend to take control of him or obtain the secrets he possesses, then I advise you that it's best that you don't bring trouble upon yourself. Once he wakes up, then with the strength all of you possess, he'll be able to crush all of you to death with a single finger. The Shadow War God understood Yi Chunfeng's intentions and reminded him coldly. I understand. I'll be careful. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Sure, you've been away from the war tribe for too long. Let's go. The Shadow War God didn't say anything else. Big brother Yi, big sister Xia, I'm leaving. Take care. You must come to the battle arena to look for me when you have time. Although they hadn't known each other for long, Jean Chercher truly treated Yi Chunfeng and the Shadow War God as friends. All right. We'll definitely go to the battle arena if we have the chance. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Let's go. The Shadow War God waved his arm lightly, and a terrifying gust of wind swept up as he left with Jean Chercher. Soul Eater's Brain. As soon as the Shadow War God and Jean Chercher left, Yi Chunfeng immediately took out a Soul Eater's brain and placed it on the Black Rock Emperor's bloodied face. In the next moment, the Soul Eater's brain wriggled quickly. It entered the Black Rock Emperor's soul sea through his 7 orifices and started to devour his soul and consciousness. Although the Black Rock Emperor was strong, he couldn't resist the invasion of Soul Devourer's brain while he was heavily injured. Very soon, Soul Devourer's brain took control of his soul consciousness and established a soul connection with Yi Chunfeng. It's done. The moment their souls connected, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. With the Black Rock Emperor under his control, there were only a few people in the Misty Heaven sect who could hurt him. If Shui Mingxian still didn't know what was good for him, Yi Chunfeng wouldn't mind letting the Black Rock Emperor kill him. Come on, let's go back. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng put the unconscious Black Rock Emperor into the universe mirror. Then, he summoned the holy beast Immortal Crane that had been waiting for him for a long time. Then, he flew toward the ethereal heaven sect at an extremely fast speed. About half a day later, the Black Rock Emperor, who had been heavily injured by the Shadow War God and had fallen into a deep coma, woke up. When he realized that his mind and consciousness were being controlled, he let out an unwilling roar in the universe mirror. What's wrong? You can't accept it? Hearing the Black Rock Emperor's roar, Yi Chunfeng entered the universe mirror with a thought. He looked at the furious Black Rock Emperor and slowly said, "Kill me if you have the guts." The Black Rock Emperor glared at Yi Chunfeng and said unyieldingly. He could not accept being controlled by someone who was hundreds of times weaker than him. I worked so hard to control you, why would I kill you? Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, and you don't have to be unwilling. In at most 100 years, I will be able to grow to a level that you can only look up to. With just you? The Black Rock Emperor said disdainfully. Black Rock Emperor, come with me. I'll bring you to see someone. Yi Chunfeng did not waste his breath and brought him to the place where the God-fiend Torch Dragon was sleeping. This God-fiend. Looking at the God-fiend Torch Dragon that was sleeping on the ground like a mountain ridge, the Black Rock Emperor's eyes widened. His heart was in turmoil. Through the God-fiend Torch Dragon's aura, the Black Rock Emperor felt small and insignificant. He had a feeling that the god fiend in front of him was not weaker than the Black Demon tribe leader. Black Rock Emperor, if you are willing to submit to me and work for me, I will give you an opportunity to break through to the Demon Master realm. Yi Chenfeng threw out another olive branch. Really? The Black Rock Emperor's eyes lit up. Breaking through to the Demon Master realm was his life's goal, but he knew very well how difficult it was to take this step. Look, what is this? With a thought, Yi Chenfeng took out 2 ancestral vein root. This is the ancestral roots. The legendary ancestral roots. When the Black Rock Emperor stared at the ancestral roots, information about the dragon-shaped ancestral roots appeared in his mind. He widened his eyes and exclaimed in shock. That's right, these are the ancestral roots. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, Submit to me for 1,000 years, and these 2 ancestral roots will be yours. Really? The Black Rock Emperor was stunned and looked at Yi Chenfeng. Using 1,000 years of freedom in exchange for breaking through to the Demon Master realm was completely acceptable to the Black Rock Emperor. Do you think it's worth deceiving me? Yi Chenfeng said arrogantly. If you are still a Tao Lord after 1,000 years, you have no right to follow me. I will naturally restore your freedom. All right, I am willing to submit to you for 1,000 years. The outcome could not be changed, and the Black Rock Emperor had no choice. Moreover, he could accept 1,000 years. In the end, he agreed and obtained 2 ancestral roots from Yi Chenfeng. All right, you can cultivate here from now on. If there is a need, I will summon you. After saying that, Yi Chenfeng left the universe mirror. He controlled the God-Eater brain to erase the consciousness of the holy beast Crane and continued flying towards the misty heaven sect. At the same time, a huge commotion occurred in the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion. Is there still no news about C? Xue Mingxian looked gloomily at the disciples who had just returned to the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion and asked in a low voice. Xue Si was his nephew and his right-hand man. If something happened to him, it would affect his plan and cause an extremely bad impact. Moreover, 13 of his outstanding disciples had disappeared with Xue Si. If something happened to all of them, he would not be able to bear the consequences. No, we did not find Senior Brother C and the others near the Suicide Forest. However, we found traces of a battle at the edge of the Suicide Forest. The disciple who had gone to investigate said fearfully. Traces of a battle. Xue Mingxuan's brows were tightly knitted together. According to your observations, what level of battle are those? Pavilion Master, we can't tell. However, the ground at the edge of the Suicide Forest has collapsed. The remaining power in one of the cracks is extremely terrifying. We dare not go near it. The disciple of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion reported. Could it be that C and the others were unlucky and encountered a fierce battle between experts from other forces and were killed? Xue Mingxuan's face became gloomier as he thought of the possibility. Have Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy returned? Xue Mingxian took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. No, they have not returned either. The disciple of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion said. Damn it! How could this happen? The more Xue Mingxian thought about it, the angrier he became. He regretted sending Xue Si to kill Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy. Pavilion Master, we have the latest news. While Xue Mingxian was secretly regretting, a disciple of the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion ran in and said, I just saw that Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy came back on a crane. What? Xue Mingxuan's face darkened. An unbelievable thought appeared in his mind. Let's go. Follow me to the Bishue Immortal Pavilion. As he spoke, Xue Mingxian, whose face was as gloomy as water, summoned the sacred beast Golden Eagle and rode it to the Bishue Immortal Pavilion to denounce them. Chapter 1581. I'm finally back. Yi Chenfeng stood on the red-crowned crane and looked at the Bishue Celestial Pavilion bathed in clouds with a faint smile on his face. 8. Chinese Network 1, 1, 8, 1. This time, Yi Chenfeng's harvest in the Death Forest was much greater than he imagined. Not only did he pluck over 1,200 death flowers, he also obtained 2 mid-grade True Spirit Saint swords, 6 death-severing ancestral roots, and befriended the War Race's princess. More importantly, he had unexpectedly subdued a peak 6-star Demon Emperor expert. With the help of the Black Rock Emperor, the number of people in the entire Heaven Domain who wanted to harm him could be counted on one hand. Qingfeng, Wendai, you're finally back. Yi Chenfeng had just returned to the Bishu's Celestial Pavilion when Hong Shi appeared in the White Cliff courtyard wearing a fiery red martial arts robe. She said with some blame, "Where have you been these days? Why didn't you tell us when you left the Misty Heaven sect?" "Sorry, senior sister. We were afraid of being followed, so we didn't tell the pavilion master or you," Yi Chenfeng said apologetically. "Let's go. Master wants to see you. I'll bring you to the Bishu's Celestial Pavilion." Hong Shi didn't blame Yi Chenfeng and Wendai after seeing them return safely. She brought them to the Bishu's Celestial Pavilion where Shui Piaomiao was cultivating. "Master, I've brought them here." After entering the exquisitely decorated Bishu's Celestial Pavilion, Hong Shi bowed to Shui Piaomiao, who was cultivating cross-legged on a piece of jade. "Qingfeng, Wendai, where have you been these days?" Shui Piaomiao slowly opened her eyes and said, "Do you know how dangerous it is to leave the Misty Heaven sect without permission? How many people are eyeing the 2 peerless inheritances you obtained at the Inheritance Cliff?" "Sorry, Pavilion Master. We went to the Death Forest these days." Although Shui Piaomiao's words were full of blame, there was also concern in the blame. This made Yi Chenfeng feel warm in his heart. "Death Forest? You accepted the mission of the Death Forest?" Shui Piaomiao said with a shocked expression. She was very clear about how terrifying the Suicide Forest was. Saint beasts roamed the forest, and there were even profound rank saint beasts and heaven rank saint beasts. Even if she entered the Suicide Forest, it would be difficult for her to come out alive. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said vaguely, "Yes, we were lucky. We met some people in the Suicide Forest and successfully picked some suicide flowers and brought them back." "Yi Chenfeng, the 2 of you are too bold," Shui Piaomiao scolded. "Although the 2 of you are Heaven's favored children in the lower realm, the Heaven Domain is different from the lower realm. Here, the slightest carelessness can cause you to lose your life. Don't mess around in the future." "Yes, Pavilion Master. We will pay attention next time." Yi Chenfeng nodded. "Junior brother, did you really pluck the suicide flower from the Suicide Forest?" Hong Shi asked. "Yes, we've picked more than 1,100 suicide flowers." Yi Chenfeng nodded. "However, he secretly left behind 100 suicide flowers." 1,100 suicide flowers. Shui Piaomiao and Hong Shi couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. 1 suicide flower was equivalent to 1,000 contribution points. 1,100 suicide flowers were equivalent to 1,100,000 contribution points. With these contribution points, they could go to the main sect of the Piaomiao sect to exchange for treasures. Just when Shui Piaomiao was shocked by Yi Chenfeng and Shui Piaomiao's harvest, more than 10 powerful auras appeared and landed outside the Azure Snow Pavilion. "Yes, Shui Mingxian. What is he doing here?" Shui Piaomiao frowned slightly. She felt that Shui Mingxuan's arrival was not a good thing. "Shui Piaomiao, how dare you allow your disciples to kill the people of my Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion? Do you know your crime?" Shui Mingxian walked into the Azure Snow Pavilion with a murderous aura. He coldly glanced at Yi Chenfeng and Shui Piaomiao. "Shui Mingxian, what do you mean?" Shui Piaomiao frowned slightly and said calmly, "You're still playing dumb." Shui Mingxian said angrily, "Let me ask you. Did you send people to kill Si and the others?" "Shui Si? He's dead?" Shui Piaomiao's complexion changed. Monstrous waves were set off in her heart. Shui Si was known as the #1 genius of Snow Palace's younger generation. His talent and strength were above Yulanxin's. His death would definitely cause a great storm in Snow Palace. If you two want to live, then obediently tell me the truth, otherwise I won't forgive you. Xue Mingxuan's eyes flashed with a vicious light. He coldly glared at Yi Chunfeng and Xue Piaomiao, aggressively saying, "Tell me, did Si and the others' deaths have anything to do with you?" "Yes." Yi Chunfeng nodded and admitted straightforwardly. Qingfeng, Xue Piaomiao, who was still immersed in Xue Si's death, was startled as she heard Yi Chunfeng admit to it. She was well aware of just how important Xue Si was to the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion. Once Xue Mingxian confirmed that Xue Si's death was related to Yi Chunfeng, he definitely wouldn't let Yi Chunfeng and Xue Piaomiao off. A debt of blood shall be paid with blood. Xue Mingxian also didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to admit to it. His handsome face revealed a sinister expression as he said this. A debt of blood shall be paid with blood? What does Pavilion Master Mingxian mean? Yi Chunfeng pretended to be surprised and said, "Senior Brother Si and the others are our saviors. Without them, there wouldn't be us." Qingfeng, what happened? The confusion on Xue Piaomiao's face deepened. She couldn't figure out what he was up to. Senior Brother Si and the others were killed by the experts of the Black Demon Clan in order to save us. Yi Chunfeng spoke out the words that he thought of, and described Xue Li and the others as his saviors, praising their spirit of sacrificing themselves for others. A bunch of nonsense. After listening to Yi Chunfeng's narration, Xue Mingxuan's lungs were about to explode. He was very clear that Yi Chunfeng wasn't telling the truth and Xue Si would never save them. Pavilion Master Mingxian, are you doubting the quality of Senior Brother Si and the others? Looking at the enraged Xue Mingxian, Yi Chunfeng asked in a low voice. Yi Chunfeng, don't quibble. I'm very sure that Si and the others were killed by you. Xue Mingxian suppressed the anger in his heart and said. However, Yi Chunfeng's move had disrupted his plan and put him in a very passive situation. How can Pavilion Master Mingxian be so sure? Yi Chunfeng asked in return. Several thoughts flashed through Xue Mingxuan's mind. He couldn't admit that Xue Si was sent by him to kill Yi Chunfeng and the others. If Yi Chunfeng insisted that Xue Si died because of them, he really wouldn't be able to explain himself. Xue Mingxian, Qingfeng and the others went to the Forest of Death to accept a mission. Why did Si and the others appear in the Forest of Death at the same time? What do you want? Xue Piaomiao sensed that something was wrong, and his face instantly darkened as he said angrily. Why, only they are allowed to go to the Forest of Death to accept a mission, but not Si and the others? Xue Mingxian said angrily. Pavilion Master Mingxian is right. Anyone can accept a mission in the Forest of Death. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Senior Brother Si and the others died for us, and I feel very sad. I feel that it is necessary to report this matter to the Snow Palace Master and ask the Palace Master to seek justice for Senior Brother Si and the others. As for Master's suspicion, we can also ask the Palace Master to go to the Mission Pavilion to investigate. At that time, we will know whether Si has accepted a mission or not. After all, we need to register when we accept a mission. Xue Mingxian realized that Yi Chunfeng was setting a trap for him. If he really went to the Mission Pavilion to investigate, not only would Xue Si and the others die in vain, it might even cause a negative impact on him. Good. I understand the cause of Si and the others' deaths. I will take revenge. No matter who it is, they will die without a doubt. Xue Mingxian realized that today's situation was unfavorable for him, and there was no meaning in staying any longer. He left a sentence and was about to leave. Pavilion Master Mingxian, the murderer who killed Senior Brother Si, is the Black Rock Emperor of the Black Demon Clan. However, the Black Rock Emperor's strength is a 6-star demon emperor. I advise Pavilion Master Mingxian not to take revenge on your own accord, lest you become cannon fodder and lose your life for no reason. Yi Chunfeng seemed to kindly remind him. You don't need to worry about this. Xue Mingxian, who didn't get any benefits, suppressed his anger and left angrily. Chapter 1582. Qingfeng, was Xue Si really killed by the Black Fiend race? After Xue Mingxian left angrily, Xue Piaomiao sealed the entire hall and asked, 8th Chinese? Net? Less than or equal to? Pavilion Master, do you think that with Mozi's and my strength, we can kill Xue Si? Yi Chunfeng asked with a smile. Qingfeng, Xue Si is Xue Mingxuan's nephew and the #1 genius of Snow Palatial. His death will definitely cause a huge uproar in Snow Palatial. Xue Piaomiao said solemnly, regardless of whether Xue Si's death is related to you, Xue Mingxian will bear this grudge on you and Wendy. Therefore, you have to keep a low profile in the coming days. Do not leave Bishue Immortal Pavilion without permission. Don't worry, Pavilion Master. We will be careful. Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. By the way, Pavilion Master, I have a gift for you. With that said, Yi Chunfeng took out a jade box that emitted wisps of spiritual energy from the cosmic mirror and handed it to Xue Piaomiao. And inside the jade box was the invaluable life-severing ancestral root. What is this? Xue Piaomiao frowned slightly and opened the jade box. Immediately following that, a rich ancestral charm emanated from the jade box, causing Xue Piaomiao's mind to jolt. I don't know what this is either. However, I believe it should be useful to Pavilion Master. Seeing Xue Piaomiao's expression turn from a daze to shock and from shock to excitement, Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. Life-severing ancestral root. This seems to be the legendary life-severing ancestral root. Xue Piaomiao carefully identified the life-severing ancestral root and recognized its origins. How did you obtain the life-severing ancestral root? This was given to me by the Battle Clan. Mozi and I saved the Battle Clan's princess by chance. Yi Chunfeng said the excuse he had long thought of. Qingfeng, do you know the value of this life-severing ancestral root? It can be said that the value of this ancestral root is more precious than typical high-grade sacred true pills. Xue Piaomiao took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in her heart. You should keep this life-severing ancestral root for yourself. It will be of great help to you in the future. Pavilion Master, I'm not giving you the life-severing ancestral root for nothing. Once you break through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm and obtain the position of Snow Palace Palace Lord, just give me and Mozi some contribution points every year. Yi Chunfeng intended to help Xue Piaomiao become the Snow Palace Palace Master, which was why he gave her the extremely precious life-severing ancestral root. This, Pavilion Master, I think you should be clear about the consequences of letting Xue Mingxian win the position of Palace Master. If the Bishue Immortal Pavilion is gone, what future is there to talk about? Yi Chunfeng said bluntly. Okay, I will do my best to compete for the position of Palace Master of Snow Palace. Xue Piaomiao said after taking a deep breath as she looked at Yi Chunfeng, understanding his deeper meaning. If Xue Mingxian were to obtain the position of Palace Master of Snow Palace, it would bring disaster to the Bishue Immortal Pavilion. It could be said that the fate of the Bishue Immortal Pavilion was tied to her. With the life-severing ancestral root, her chances of obtaining the position of Palace Master of Snow Palace would be greatly increased. Pavilion Master, we will return first. Yi Chunfeng didn't stay in the Bishue Immortal Pavilion for long. He bade farewell to Xue Piaomiao and left the Bishue Immortal Pavilion. However, the two of them didn't return to the White Cliff courtyard. Instead, they summoned a sacred red-crowned crane and rode it to the Mission Pavilion. The two of you are actually still alive. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Mozi entered the Mission Pavilion, a cold voice suddenly entered Yi Chunfeng and Mozi's ears. Our luck is not bad. We managed to leave the suicide forest alive. Yi Chunfeng said indifferently as he looked at the flirtatious woman who had kindly warned them back then. The gray-robed elder in charge of ranking also recognized Yi Chunfeng and Mozi's and said in a low voice, "No matter whether the mission is successful or not, It is a success to be able to leave the suicide forest alive. Eldersher, do you think the two of them would dare to enter the suicide forest with their strength? Yeah, I think they would at most walk around the periphery of the suicide forest and be scared back. The disciples of the Snow Palace knew how terrifying the suicide forest was. Many honorable realm experts had lost their lives in the suicide forest. They didn't believe that Yi Chunfeng and Matzi would dare to enter the suicide forest. However, the flirtatious woman didn't think so. Because Yi Chunfeng had come to submit the mission, it was very likely that he had picked the suicide flower. Eldersher, this is the suicide flower that we picked from the suicide forest. Yi Chunfeng did not pay attention to the noisy discussions around him and handed a universe ring to Eldersher. You guys really plucked the suicide flower. Eldersher was stunned. He looked at Yi Chunfeng and revealed a look of shock. When Eldersher penetrated his soul power into the universe ring, it was as if he was struck by lightning. He was stunned. How did you do it? Did you really pick these suicide flowers? Eldersher couldn't believe that there were more than 1,100 suicide flowers in the universe ring that Yi Chunfeng handed to him. In the suicide forest where the saint beasts roamed, it was very dangerous to pick one suicide flower. The difficulty of picking more than 1,000 suicide flowers was unimaginable. We are lucky to have teamed up with an expert and picked these suicide flowers. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said vaguely, "Can these suicide flowers be exchanged for contribution points?" "Yes, of course you can." Eldersher, who came back to his senses, looked at Yi Chunfeng and Matzi differently. He realized that he had underestimated them. They were definitely not simple. As for the expert that they were talking about, he didn't ask. Eldersher, how many suicide flowers did they pick? Looking at Eldersher, who had lost his composure, the charming lady blinked her big eyes and asked curiously. More than 1,100 flowers. Eldersher laughed bitterly and shook his head. What? Not only was the charming lady stunned, everyone present was stunned. Some of them even thought that they had heard wrongly. This number of suicide flowers was beyond their imagination. Eldersher, I wonder if you can give us the contribution points now? Feeling that everyone's eyes were on him, Yi Chunfeng's expression didn't change as he said plainly. All right, give me your identity badges. Eldersher nodded and took Yi Chunfeng and Matzi's identity badges. He inserted more than 500,000 contribution points into the badges. Thank you, Eldersher. We will be leaving now. After successfully obtaining the contribution points, Yi Chunfeng and Matzi didn't stay for long. They left the mission pavilion and rode their red-crowned cranes to the treasure pavilion. An ordinary emperor-level disciple wouldn't be able to accumulate so many contribution points even after 100 years. From this, it could be seen just how shocking 1,000,000 contribution points were. After some selection, Yi Chunfeng and Matzi bought 6 extremely valuable second-grade True Spirit Saint pills and a bottle of body-tempering water that could cleanse pill toxins. They were all preparing to break into a higher realm. Let's go to the Gravity Star. The two of them spent over 600,000 contribution points to exchange for a large amount of Grade 2 True Spirit Saint pills, but they didn't exchange them for any top-grade Saint artifacts. Instead, they each spent another 200,000 contribution points to enter the top cultivation grounds of the Misty Heaven sect, the Gravity Planet, which was filled with terrifying pressure. Chapter 1583. The Gravity Star was the top cultivation holy land of the Misty Heaven sect. It was a star that the ancestor of the Misty Heaven sect had forcefully refined and sealed in the depths of the sect. By Chinese network is almost equal to. Is almost equal to 8 is not equal to 1 is not equal to z less than or equal to greater than or equal. The benefits of cultivating on the Gravity Star were self-evident. The Misty Heaven sect didn't restrict their disciples from cultivating on the Gravity Star, but cultivating on the Gravity Star required a large amount of contribution points. There were only a handful of disciples like Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi who could cultivate on the gravity star for a year. Kacha, after paying 200,000 points respectively, Yi Chunfeng and Lu Li entered the gravity planet through the teleportation array. As soon as they stepped onto the gravity planet, Yi Chunfeng felt his body sink. The space pressure that could topple mountains and overturn seas was like a torrential waterfall, ruthlessly pressing down on their bodies, causing them to tremble. However, Yi Chunfeng's physical strength was way too strong. He slowly activated the powers in his 5 acupuncture points and spread the hundreds of millions of kilograms of physical strength all over his body, easily withstanding the space pressure outside the gravitational star. Let's go, Motzi. Let's go deep into the gravity planet to cultivate. The closer they got to the core of the gravity star, the greater the space pressure. However, the benefits of cultivation were also more obvious. The two of them endured the space pressure from the boundless void and walked deeper into the gravity star step by step. About 8 hours later, Xia Dai could no longer withstand the space pressure of the gravity star. Her body began to tremble as she cultivated. She had no choice but to stop and find a relatively quiet place to begin her closed-door cultivation. Hu! Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. Powers exploded from his 5 acupuncture points. Under the pressure of the space, he dashed towards the core area of the gravity star at an extremely fast speed. What? Am I seeing things? Someone is running on the gravity planet. Heavens! When did such a monster appear in the Misty Heaven sect? Many of the Misty Heaven sect's disciples who were cultivating on the planet of gravity were awakened by the ear-piercing sound. When they saw a blurry figure running on the planet of gravity, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Yi Chunfeng had been running for several hours when he sensed that the spatial pressure in the sky had exceeded 1 billion jin. His body, which was comparable to a high-grade sacred artifact, was reacting strongly. He decided to stay here and cultivate for a while before venturing deeper. Who are you to be able to appear here? While Yi Chunfeng was searching for a place to cultivate, an intense soul fluctuation entered his ears. I am a disciple of the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion. Following the source of the voice, Yi Chunfeng looked into the distance and vaguely saw a figure shrouded in a thick layer of dust in a black hole. Disciple of the Bishue Immortal Pavilion, I know who you are. The figure in the cave suddenly opened his tightly shut eyes. Through the heavy pressure, he looked at Yi Chunfeng and said coldly, "Looks like you are even more outstanding than the rumors say." As expected of the owner of the Misty Sword Cannon. After he finished speaking, this expert who had cultivated on the planet of gravity closed his eyes and got rid of all distracting thoughts. He didn't say anything else. The abilities of Heaven Domain experts were unimaginable. Yi Chunfeng was afraid of exposing the existence of the god-devouring brain, so he didn't blindly sense this expert's strength. He looked at her from afar and slowly moved on the planet of gravity, trying to get as far away from her as possible. He didn't want her to see more of his secrets while he was cultivating, which would cause unnecessary trouble. After half a day, Yi Chunfeng appeared in a deserted area. He found a man-made hole and entered it, preparing to enter seclusion for nearly a year. Huff! Yi Chunfeng adjusted his qi and took out 2 suicide flowers. He directly swallowed them and circulated the soul-devouring art to quickly refine them. Due to the strong pressure of the planet of gravity, the energy released by the 2 suicide flowers couldn't flow out of Yi Chunfeng's body. This was the biggest benefit of cultivating on the planet of gravity. Days passed. Yi Chunfeng endured over 1 billion pounds of spatial pressure and refined precious spiritual items. He accumulated his foundation and prepared to break through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm. After cultivating for more than a month, Yi Chunfeng had refined more than 10 suicide flowers and a large number of spiritual items of heaven and earth. He had cultivated to the limit of a 6-star Tao master, and the golden Tao power in his body had reached the point of overflowing. Feeling that the time was right, Yi Chunfeng took out a suicide ancestral root and used the powerful spirituality of the suicide ancestral root to break through the bottleneck and break through to the 1-star Tao Emperor realm. During the days when Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi were cultivating on the planet of gravity, the Snow Palace had a series of changes. With the help of the suicide ancestral root's spirituality, Xue Piamiao not only increased her lifespan by 30,000 years but also smoothly broke through to the 2-star Tao Emperor realm. This caused the entire Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion to be excited. Not long after Xue Piamiao's breakthrough, the number 1 genius of the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion, Yu Lanxin, used the Misty Sword scripture to break through the shackles of cultivation on the planet of gravity and become a 1-star Tao Emperor. All of a sudden, the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion's strength faintly suppressed the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion that had lost Xue Piamiao. This gave Xue Piamiao hope of inheriting the position of Snow Palace Master. As the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion rejoiced, the Snow Palace Master broke through to the 4-star Tao Emperor realm and became an elder of the Misty Heaven sect, vacating the position of Snow Palace Master. Just when everyone thought that Xue Piamiao would take advantage of the recent limelight and force Xue Mingxian to become the Palace Master of the Snow Palace, Xue Mingxian used some unknown method to persuade the Palace Master of the Snow Palace to finally let him inherit the position of Palace Master of the Snow Palace. And this decision was approved by the Patriarch of the Xue family, the 3rd elder of the Misty Heaven sect, Xue Shujun, causing Xue Piamiao to lose all power. What should we do, Master? Xue Mingxian is about to inherit the position of Snow Palace Master. With his personality, he will definitely take revenge on us. The disciples of the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion gathered around Xue Piamiao, discussing how to deal with this situation. Now we only have 2 paths. Either we leave the Misty Heaven sect and establish our own sect, or we submit. Xue Piamiao said worriedly. She was well aware of Xue Mingxuan's methods. Master, since the Xue family has given up on us, how about we leave the Misty Heaven sect? Yu Lanxin, who was wearing a long blue dress and looked like an ice lotus, said in a domineering manner. Leave. Thinking of the consequences of leaving, Xue Piamiao hesitated. Although she had broken through to the 2-star Tao Emperor realm, and Yu Lanxin had broken through to the 1-star Tao Emperor realm, there were simply too many experts in the Heaven domain. With the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion's strength, it wasn't enough to deal with the dangers of the Heaven domain. Without the protection of the Misty Heaven sect, it was very likely that they would perish even faster. Do you want me to show you a way out? Xue Piamiao hesitated. As she was discussing a plan, a playful voice sounded out in the Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion. It was Xue Mingxian, who wore a black robe and had an arrogant expression on his face. He had the posture of a victor, his hands clasped behind his back as he arrived alone. Chapter 1584. Xue Mingxian. Seeing the sudden arrival of Xue Mingxian, Xue Piamiao's eyebrows tightly twisted together. Several thoughts flashed through her mind. 88? Chinese network? Xue Piamiao, since we've known each other for some time, I'll show you the way. Xue Mingxian arrogantly said. Hand over Yi Chunfeng and Xia Dai to me, and then you, Hongxi, and Yu Lanxin will be my women. Then, I'll let your Blue Snow Immortal Pavilion go. Don't even think about it. Hearing Xue Mingxuan's conditions, Yu Lanxin was enraged. The clear cry of a sword echoed from her body. She grasped the low-grade True Spirit Saint artifact, Water Moon Sacred Sword, and thrust it towards Xue Mingxian. Wang. As Yu Lanxin's sword thrust out, Xue Mingxian quickly flicked out several fingers. An incomparably sharp sword light ruthlessly struck the Water Moon Sacred Sword, creating a powerful rebounding force that passed through the sword and into Yu Lanxin's arm, forcibly forcing her back. Peak 2-star Tao Emperor. Xue Piamiao's pupils shrank. She didn't think that Shui Mingxuan's strength had risen to the level of a peak 2-star Dao Emperor. With just a few flicks of his fingers, he was able to force Yu Lanxin back. Yu Lanxin, I'll let you off this time. But if you dare to be impudent again, don't blame me for being impolite. Shui Mingxian narrowed his eyes. He looked at Yu Lanxin's cold face and said, although you're pretty good looking and suit my taste, if you don't listen to me then I'll still destroy you. Is that so? Yu Lanxin ignored Shui Mingxuan's warning. She revolved the misty sword scripture and was about to continue attacking. Stop, Lanxin. Shui Piaomiao grabbed Yu Lanxin's arm and said, withdraw, leave everything to me. Yes, master. Seeing Shui Piaomiao's dignified eyes, Yu Lanxin fiercely bit her lip. She put away the water moon's sacred sword and silently pushed it to the side. Shui Piaomiao, I wonder if you agree to the conditions I just proposed? Shui Mingxian revealed the attitude of a victor as he looked at Shui Piaomiao. I don't. Shui Piaomiao shook her head. Shi Piaomiao didn't eyes Piaomiao's, master. Hearing Shui Piaomiao's words, Yulan Xian and the others immediately panicked. Shut up, all of you. If anyone says another word, I'll definitely expel her from the Jade Snow Celestial Pavilion. Shui Piaomiao warned sternly. Shui Piaomiao, my appetite is not that small. Although you look pretty good, there will be a day when I get tired of playing with you. So, just you alone is not enough for me to let go of your Bishue Celestial Pavilion. Shui Mingxian looked at Shui Piaomiao's charming body and said with an arrogant smile, what if I join in? Hongxi, who was wearing a long red dress, bit her lips and stood out. She was extremely charming. Still not enough. Shui Mingxian shook his head and said, Shui Piaomiao, I'll give you 3 days to think about it. If you don't give me a satisfactory answer in 3 days, when I inherit the position of Palace Master of the Snow Palace, I'll definitely start with your Bishue Celestial Pavilion. Can you be lenient for a few more days? Shui Piaomiao endured the humiliation in her heart and bit her lip. Sure, as long as you come back with me to the Sunset Snow Celestial Pavilion today and serve me well, I'll be lenient for a month so you can think about it. Shui Mingxuan's lips curved up in a playful smile. Scram! Yulan Xian saw Shui Mingxian continuously insult Shui Piaomiao. She could no longer control the anger in her heart. She summoned her water moon's sacred sword and fiercely attacked Shui Mingxian. Stop! Before the sharp sword lights could strike Shui Mingxian, Shui Piaomiao suddenly blocked in front of Yulan Xian and neutralized her attack. Shui Mingxian, in 3 days, I will only give you an answer. You can leave. Yulan Xian, remember my words. I swear I'll push you under my body and let you know the consequences of offending me. Shui Mingxian coldly glared at Yulan Xian. After leaving behind these arrogant words, he turned and left. Master, if worst comes to worst, we'll make a big deal out of this. Let's see how Shui Mingxian will deal with this. Redbrook angrily said, biting her lips. Shui Piaomiao deeply sighed. Calm down. In the next few days, I'll go pay a visit to my Shui family patriarch and see what she has to say. Because Shui Mingxian was about to inherit the position of Snow Palace Master, the Sunset Snow Celestial Pavilion had fallen into a great haze. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy had been cultivating on Gravity Star for over half a year and had made substantial breakthroughs. After refining dozens of suicide flowers and a second-grade True Spirit Saint pill, Xia Wendy successfully broke through to the realm of 6-star Dao Master with the help of heavy pressure. As for Yi Chunfeng, with the help of the powerful spirituality of the life-severing ancestral root, he was only a step away from breaking through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm. Second-grade Saint True Spirit pill, refine. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath, took out a second-grade Saint True Spirit pill, and swallowed it. With the help of the majestic medicinal power of the second-grade Saint True Spirit pill, he continued to break through the bottleneck of his realm. Although the bottleneck of the Dao Emperor realm was extremely tough, Under the impact of the life-severing ancestral root and the majestic medicinal power of the second-grade Saint True Spirit pill, cracks kept appearing. After he persevered in breaking through the bottleneck again and again, waves of more powerful Tao power passed through the cracks of the bottleneck and flowed into his body, increasing his strength. After a few more days, Yi Chunfeng felt that the time was right. He detonated all the medicinal power of the second-grade Saint True Spirit pill, and without caring about the damage to his body, he broke through the bottleneck of his realm and reached the one-star Tao Emperor realm. After refining the life-severing ancestral root, he had an extra 30,000 years of life, which was enough for him to use the life-spirit technique at the critical moment. Phew, I've finally broken through. Feeling that his physical strength had increased by 100 million jin, and his combat strength had increased by more than 10 times, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. There were still more than 3 months before the 1-year time limit to increase his realm. Yi Chunfeng was not prepared to leave the gravity planet, and he was prepared to enter the core of the gravity planet and use the stronger spatial pressure to refine his physical body and break through to the 4th level of the mystic body realm. You've come out. Yi Chunfeng endured the huge pressure, and as he walked step by step towards the core of the gravity planet, the cold voice from before entered his ears again. You're very concerned about me? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly and replied coldly. Don't misunderstand, I just happened to see you come out and wanted to tell you something. The cold voice said, something happened to the Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion, and Senior Sister Piamiao lost her position as the Palace Master of the Snow Palace. When did this happen? Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows, feeling the severity of the situation. 5 days ago, and according to what I know, Senior Sister Piamiao and the others might betray the Misty Heaven sect. The cold voice said. Can you tell me who you are? Yi Chunfeng asked as several thoughts flashed through his mind. Who I am is not important. What's important is that I don't want anything to happen to Senior Sister Piamiao. The cold voice said, and since you've been recognized by the preaching heavenly wall, perhaps you can help Senior Sister Piamiao settle this trouble. You want me to hand over the Misty Sword Scripture? Yi Chunfeng immediately understood the cold voice's meaning. That's right. The cold voice said, the Shui family suddenly supported Shui Mingxian, and it's very likely that they came for the Misty Sword Scripture. After all, the entire Misty Heaven sect only has one supreme grade true spirit saint art, and who wouldn't want the Misty Sword Scripture? If you're willing to hand over the Misty Sword Scripture, you can solve Senior Sister Piamiao's crisis. Thank you for telling me. Qingfeng will definitely repay you in the future. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng did not stay for long, and left the gravity planet alone while enduring the terrifying pressure, returning to the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion that was shrouded in danger. Chapter 1585. Master, have you really decided? Yu Lanxin came to the room where Shui Piamiao was cultivating. She looked at the pale and worried Shui Piamiao and asked in a low voice, 8th High, Literature Net? I can sacrifice myself, but I can't just watch you die. Maybe leaving is our only choice. Shui Piamiao took a deep breath and made up her mind. Master, do you think we'll be able to leave the Misty Heaven sect? Yu Lanxin sighed and said, although the Shui family allowed us to leave, I have a feeling that this matter isn't as simple as it seems. Yes, that's what I'm worried about. How could the Shui family allow us to leave? Shui Piamiao went to visit the Shui family's patriarch. Although she didn't see her in person, she obtained the Shui family's promise to allow them to leave the Misty Heaven sect. However, Shui Piamiao felt that there was something strange about this matter. This made her more and more worried. Master, junior brother Qingfeng is back. As Shui Piamiao was in a daze, Red Brook brought Yi Chunfeng to her cultivation room. 1-star Dao Master. The moment she saw Yi Chunfeng, Shui Piamiao felt his strength and revealed a look of shock. In just a few months, he had broken through from a 4-star Dao Saint to a 1-star Dao Master. This speed of breakthrough almost broke the Misty Heaven sect's cultivation record. "I'm sorry, Pavilion Master. Ching Feng has brought you so much trouble." Yi Qinfeng looked at the haggard Shui Piaomiao and said apologetically, "This has nothing to do with you. I was useless and couldn't compete with Shui Mingxian." After seeing Yi Qinfeng's amazing cultivation talent, Shui Piaomiao had even more expectations for Yi Qinfeng. She believed that as long as Yi Qinfeng was given enough time, he would definitely grow into a giant tree that could shake the heavens. "Pavilion Master, if you trust me, leave the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion's troubles to me. I promise to resolve this crisis and let Shui Mingxian suffer alone," Yi Qinfeng promised softly. "You don't have to leave the Misty Heaven sect. Qingfeng, you have a way to resolve this crisis?" Shui Piaomiao raised her eyebrows and looked at Yi Qinfeng in shock. "Yes." Yi Qinfeng nodded and said without hesitation, "Qingfeng, are you going to hand over the Misty Sword Scripture?" asked the intelligent Yulan Xen. "No, there's a better way." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said, "Give me 3 days. When Shui Mingxian inherits the position of Palace Master of the Snow Palace, I will make him fall into the abyss." 3 days passed in a flash. During these 3 days, Yi Qinfeng left every morning and returned at night, wandering around the Snow Palace's headquarters. His whereabouts had long been known to Shui Piaomiao and Shui Mingxian, but because he didn't do anything and only wandered around, no one knew what he was doing. Finally, the day of Shui Mingxian inheriting the position of Palace Master arrived. On this day, Snow Palace was exceptionally lively. Besides the patriarch of the Shui family, Shui Shujun, all of the upper echelons of the Shui family had arrived. Shui Piaomiao and the others couldn't see the slightest hope of a comeback. "Hey, Master, what method do you think Junior Brother will use to reverse the situation and knock Shui Mingxian off his pedestal?" Redbrook racked her brains, but she couldn't think of anything. At this time, Yi Qinfeng had a way to turn the tide. "I also can't think of anything, but I believe in Qingfeng. He isn't someone who talks big. If he dares to make a promise, then he should have a way to deal with it. Let's wait and see." Shui Piaomiao shook her head and looked at Shui Mingxian, who was wearing a dark golden robe with cloud patterns and a towering crown. His face was full of joy as he prepared to inherit the position of Palace Master. "Everyone, quiet down." When the main hall of Snow Palace grew noisier and noisier, an old man in a black robe, had white hair, and a long beard walked out of the main hall with the higher-ups of the Shui clan. He said, "After my discussion with the elders of the Shui clan, we've decided to appoint Shui Mingxian as the next Palace Master of Snow Palace. I wonder if anyone has any objections?" "Good, since the 3 Pavilion Masters have no objections, then I declare Shui Mingxian as the new Palace Master of Snow Palace." "Thank you, Palace Master. Mingxian swears here that I will bring glory to Snow Palace and will not bring shame to the Shui family's name." Shui Mingxian suppressed the excitement in his heart and knelt on one knee. He accepted the Palace Master's token and swore in front of everyone. "Mingxian, we are not worried about your talent and ability. However, you are a bit vicious. Remember to restrain yourself when you take the position of Palace Master. Think of the big picture." The old Palace Master patted Shui Mingxuan's shoulder and said, "Mingxian will remember the old Palace Master's words." Shui Mingxian nodded. However, in his heart, he had already sentenced Shui Piaomiao and the others to death. Just as Shui Mingxuan's ambition was expanding, an illusory figure shrouded in black light suddenly appeared outside the main hall of Snow Palace. "Palace Master of Snow Palace, how impressive! I didn't expect to see you inherit the position of Palace Master today," the man in black light said coldly. "Shui Mingxian, aren't you going to invite me for a drink? How dare you? Who are you? How dare you trespass into my Misty Heaven sect?" Although Shui Mingxian couldn't sense the man's strength, he was fearless with the support of the Shui family's upper echelons. "What? Is your Misty Heaven sect a tiger's den? Can't I come? The man in black light said domineeringly. He kept stepping on the hard ground as he walked toward Xue Mingxian. You are from the demon clan? The old palace master frowned as he felt the terrifying demon chi coming from the man in black light. His face turned serious. That's right. I am from the Black Demon Clan, the man in black light said arrogantly. Why is the Demon Clan here? Does the Demon Clan have a grudge against Xue Mingxian? Hong Shi looked at Xue Piaomiao and asked in confusion. I don't know. Let's keep watching. Maybe there will be a change today, Xue Piaomiao said in a low voice. An unbelievable thought flashed through her mind. Black Demon Clan. Xue Mingxian frowned even more. Xue Mingxian, don't play dumb here. Hand over my item or don't blame me for not giving face to the Misty Heaven sect. The man in black light looked at Xue Mingxian, who was deep in thought, and said domineeringly, Sir, did you get the wrong person? I haven't left the Misty Heaven sect recently. How could I have taken your item? Xue Mingxian smelled something unusual. He felt that the man in black light's appearance was a little strange. It seemed like he was here for him. I knew you wouldn't admit it. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being merciless. As he said that, a right hand broke out of black light. It evolved into a terrifying Dao will and grabbed at Xue Mingxian. As the hand reached out, the sky changed color. The terrifying hand of black light seemed to be swallowing the sky and earth. It imprisoned the space around Xue Mingxian. His expression changed drastically as he deduced a Dao will and attacked with all his strength. Even though Xue Mingxian was a pinnacle 2-star Dao Emperor, the difference in strength between him and the black radiated man was too great. His attack was completely unable to break through the descending black radiated hand. He could only watch as the black radiated hand grabbed him. At the critical moment, several experts of the Xue clan attacked. Rays of heavenly light illuminated the sky and earth like meteors falling from the sky. They bombarded the hand of black light and shattered it together, saving Xue Mingxian, who was in a sorry state. Xue Mingxian, if you don't hand over my item, even Yu Xian won't be able to save you. As he said that, a terrifying demonic disc appeared behind the man in black light. It seemed like the demonic disc was nurturing everything. It locked onto Xue Mingxian, whose expression changed drastically and intimidated everyone. Chapter 1586. Peak 6-star Demon Emperor. Sensing the man's strength, the Xue family experts' faces changed drastically. Xue Mingxian even revealed a look of fear. 8-star Demon Emperor? Chinese network equals asterisk less than or equal. Is not equal to 8 less than or equal to 1, is not equal to z, is not equal to less than or equal. Is almost equal to c, is almost equal to o, is almost equal to m. The Misty Heaven sect was not one of the top forces in the heaven region. Only the sect master Yu Xian was a peak 6-star Dao Emperor. If the man wanted to kill, only Yu Xian could stop him. Sir, I have no enmity with you. Why are you targeting me? Xue Mingxian suppressed the fear in his heart and said loudly, Targeting you? The man snorted coldly and said, Do you think I'm bored enough to come all the way to the Misty Heaven sect to frame you? But I really didn't offend you, nor did I take your things. Xue Mingxian was furious, but there was nothing he could do. He could only defend himself. You're about to die, and you still don't admit it. The man said with killing intent, Since that's the case, let me send you to hell and take back my things personally. Wait, sir. Please give the Misty Heaven sect some face. As for your things, I promise I'll take them out without any damage. The Xue family's Grand Elder, who was a 5-star Dao Emperor, stood out and said. He wore a dark gray robe and had wrinkles all over his face. Grand Elder, I swear I didn't take his things. Xue Mingxian was frantic and kept defending himself. But at this moment not many people believed him. In their eyes, the man wouldn't ask for things for no reason. Moreover, with the man's strength, he wouldn't accuse Xue Mingxian wrongly. Xue Mingxian, if you don't want to die, then obediently take out the treasures you obtained recently. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite to you. The Shui family's Grand Elder felt that the situation was serious. With the Misty Heaven sect's strength, they couldn't afford to offend the Black Devil clan. Otherwise, if they angered the Black Devil clan, it would bring disaster to the Misty Heaven sect. Grand Elder, I'm really wronged. Shui Mingxian was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. The ambition and arrogance he had just a moment ago had disappeared. Only sullenness and fear remained. Brother Blackrock, please forgive me for not coming out to meet you. Just as the situation was getting tense and the killing intent of the man in black light was getting thicker and thicker, a distant voice sounded. The sect master of the ethereal heavenly sect, Yu Xian, appeared on a white cloud. He didn't look very old, but his body radiated the light of Tao Will. Following Yu Xian were the patriarchs of the Misty Heaven sect's 3 clans. Yue Xian, you came at the right time. Your sect's disciple stole my treasure. If he doesn't hand it over today, don't blame me for starting a massacre in your Misty Heaven sect. The black light disappeared, and the Black Rock Emperor, who was wearing a black robe and exuding a dense demonic aura, said domineeringly. Yu Xian landed beside Shui Mingxian and said in a calm voice, Brother Blackrock, I wonder what supreme treasure Mingxian stole from you. As long as you tell me, I will definitely force him to return it to you. Life-extinguishing ancestral tree. The Black Rock Emperor said. Shui Mingxian felt the severity of the situation, so he dropped to his knees and begged loudly, Sect Master, please understand. I don't know what the life-severing ancestral tree is, and I have never seen it before. Sect Master, all the patriarchs, please uphold justice for me and clear my name. Brother Blackrock, you said Mingxian stole your life-severing ancestral tree. When did this happen? As far as I know, Mingxian hasn't been out recently. Although the Black Rock Emperor was being aggressive, Yu Xian still had a smile on his face. Yu Xian, you should know my temper. I don't have the time to waste my breath on you. Since I believe that he stole the life-severing ancestral tree, I won't accuse him unjustly. The Black Rock Emperor said impatiently, As for you all, if you want to protect him, then come at me together. I want to see how strong the Misty Heaven sect is. As he spoke, a terrifying demonic chi burst out from the Black Rock Emperor's body. The limitless 10,000 demon disk above his head released a chilling demonic chi, causing many of the weaker Misty Heaven sect disciples to retreat, not daring to get close. Brother Blackrock, if I'm not mistaken, you're only a step away from breaking through to the Demon Lord realm. Yu Xian couldn't help but reveal a solemn expression when he felt the Black Rock Emperor's aura. That's right. In less than a year, I'll definitely step into the Demon Lord realm. After refining one life-severing ancestral root, the Black Rock Emperor's bottleneck had loosened. He was confident that he could use the second life-severing ancestral root to break through the bottleneck and break through to the Demon Lord realm. Sect Master, save me. I can swear to the heavens that there really isn't Senior Black Rock's life-severing ancestral tree. After knowing the Black Rock Emperor's strength, Shui Mingxian was scared out of his wits. He knelt on the ground and begged. He was still in high spirits just a moment ago, but now he was reduced to such a state. It was beyond everyone's expectations. Yu Xian, if you don't want the Ethereal Heaven sect to suffer, hand him over to me. Otherwise, I guarantee that the Ethereal Heaven sect will disappear from the Nihility Zone within a year. The Black Rock Emperor threatened. Brother Blackrock, you're really putting me in a difficult position. Shui Mingxian was a disciple of the Ethereal Heaven sect. If he was in danger, Yu Xian couldn't back down. However, the Black Rock Emperor was no weaker than him. Moreover, the Black Demon clan's overall strength was much stronger than the Ethereal Heaven sect. If the Black Demon clan wanted to destroy the Ethereal Heaven sect, they wouldn't be able to stop them. I'm going to kill him today. I'd like to see who can stop me. The Black Rock Emperor lost his patience. The rolling limitless 10,000 demon disk exploded with a shocking demonic aura. It evolved into a demonic phenomenon and attacked Yu Xian. Everyone, back off. The Black Rock Emperor's strength was too terrifying. The limitless 10,000 demon disk was his strongest move. Yu Xian was afraid that everyone would be affected by this move. He defended himself while shouting loudly. Ethereal wind and thunder technique. Yu Xian took a step forward. Terrifying wind and thunder Dao will surged out of his body. It quickly formed an extremely powerful wind and thunder Dao disc in front of him and met the limitless 10,000 demon disc. Boom! The two great Dao discs collided. The explosion caused the space to tremble violently. Terrifying waves of wind surged up, shaking the Snow Palace disciples and forcing them to dodge in panic. When the Dao Will discs became more and more intense, the Black Rock Emperor suddenly turned into an afterimage and tore through the destructive storm. He appeared beside Xue Mingxian, who was pale with fright and desperately dodging. He grabbed Xue Mingxuan's shoulder and easily subdued him. Sect Master, save me! Xue Mingxian didn't expect the Black Rock Emperor to still have the strength to capture him after taking Yu Xian's attack head-on. He was scared out of his wits. Yu Xian, I'm taking Xue Mingxian away. I hope you don't push me too far. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. After saying that, the Black Rock Emperor turned into a huge rock shadow and flew out of the misty heavenly sect with Xue Mingxian, who was scared out of his wits. Soon, they disappeared into the chaotic void space, leaving everyone looking at each other. Chapter 1587. Sovereign, should we chase after them? The patriarch of the Xue family, Xue Shujun, whispered to the gloomy Yu Xian. August 1st Chinese network is almost equal to less than or equal to. We can't afford to offend the Black Demon Clan, and this Black Rock Emperor is no weaker than me. Even if I go to rescue him, I fear I won't be able to return to Mingxian. Yu Xian gently sighed. Whether or not he can survive will depend on his own good fortune. After Yu Xian finished speaking, he didn't stay in the Snow Palace's main hall for long. He rode a white cloud and left. After Yu Xian left, the three patriarchs of the Misty Heaven sect didn't stay either. They all left with their clansmen. The incomparably lively Snow Palace's main hall suddenly became cold and cheerless. As for the insufferably arrogant Xue Mingxian, who was about to reach the peak of his life, no one knew if he was alive or dead. This sudden turn of events made everyone feel as if they were in a dream. All right, everyone disperse. The position of Snow Palace Master can be discussed in the future. The old Palace Master sighed. He had never imagined this would happen. Jade Snow Pavilion. Master, you said that today's events were related to junior apprentice brother Qingfeng. Although Yi Chunfeng hadn't appeared today, Yu Lanxin had a feeling that the person behind all of this was related to Yi Chunfeng. Lanxin, Hongxi, today's events are no trifling matter. Whether or not this is related to Qingfeng, you must not mention this matter again. Otherwise you will bring disaster to Qingfeng and my Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion. Xue Piaomiao solemnly said. Yes, Master, we understand. Yu Lanxin and Hongxi said in unison. Hongxi, if you see Qingfeng, tell him to come see me. I have something to say to him. Xue Piaomiao said. Yes, Master. I will go find junior apprentice brother. Yu Lanxin and Hongxi left. Qingfeng, was this really done by you? If it wasn't you, how could there be such a coincidence? Xue Piaomiao fell into deep thought. The more she thought about it, the more incredulous she felt it was. While the Misty Heaven sect was in an uproar in the mountains of the Misty Heaven sect, there was a black dot that was hard to see with the naked eye. This black dot was the universe mirror. Young Master Yi, I've caught Xue Mingxian. After returning to the universe realm, the Black Rock Emperor threw the unconscious Xue Mingxian onto the ground. Black Rock, you've done very well today. Continue cultivating and strive to break through to the one-star Demon Lord realm. Yi Chunfeng nodded and came to Xue Mingxuan's side. He summoned a large amount of cold water and sprayed it on Xue Mingxuan's face, waking him up from his coma. "You, why is it you?" When Xue Mingxian opened his eyes and saw Yi Chunfeng, his expression changed drastically. His face was filled with terror. "Could it be that you're behind all of this? Xue Mingxian, you're very smart." Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, "I was the one who asked the Black Rock Emperor to capture you. I was also the one who killed your nephew, Xue Qiyi." "You, who the hell are you?" Xue Mingxian was very clear about how terrifying the Black Rock Emperor was. He could not imagine that Yi Chunfeng could actually command the Black Rock Emperor to deal with him. "Xue Mingxian, you're about to die. What's the use of knowing so much? Could it be that you're thinking of going to the underworld to complain?" Yi Chunfeng sneered and said mockingly, "Yi Chunfeng, so it's all my fault. I beg you to let me go. As long as you're willing to let me go, I'm willing to serve you like an ox or a horse." Xue Mingxian was really afraid. In order to live, he disregarded his dignity and knelt on the ground, constantly begging for mercy. "Xue Mingxian, you think too highly of yourself. You're not worthy of serving me." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "Before you die, you'd better fight me like a man. That way, even if you die, you won't be a coward." My patience is limited. I'll count to 3. If you don't make a move, don't blame me for not giving you a chance," Yi Chunfeng said arrogantly with his hands behind his back. Boom! Xue Mingxian looked viciously at Yi Chunfeng and suddenly attacked at close range. Xue Mingxian used all his strength in this attack. It was also a sudden attack that was impossible to guard against. However, in the universe realm, Yi Chunfeng was the absolute ruler. In here, even the Black Rock Emperor might not be a match for him. Kacha kacha! A deep crack appeared in front of Xue Mingxian. Yi Chunfeng cut open the space with one hand and blocked Xue Mingxuan's attack. In the next moment, Xue Mingxuan's vision blurred. Yi Chunfeng sped up the flow of time and appeared in front of him. He punched Xue Mingxuan's chest and instantly exploded with over 1 billion kilograms of force. Xue Mingxian was sent flying dozens of meters away and crashed heavily on the ground. One-star Dao Emperor. You've been hiding your strength. Xue Mingxuan's heart trembled when he sensed Yi Chunfeng's true strength. He didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to hide his strength so deeply that he was completely suppressed. "Xue Mingxian, I have to say that you talk too much." With that, a sword light flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet as he continued to attack Xue Mingxian fiercely. Boom boom boom! A series of loud sounds echoed in the universe realm. Yi Chunfeng used the power of the universe to send Xue Mingxian flying again and again. Xue Mingxuan's body was smashed into a bloody mess, and he finally fainted. God-Eater Brain, Soul Search. With the power of the God-Eater Brain, Yi Chunfeng searched Xue Mingxuan's soul, hoping to find out some secrets of the Ethereal Heaven sect. As expected, all of this is for the Ethereal Sword Codex. After the soul search, Yi Chunfeng crushed Xue Mingxuan's head with a gloomy face. He had no sense of belonging to the Ethereal Heaven sect. If it wasn't for the Sword Principle, he wouldn't have joined. So, if the Xue family continued to target him, he wouldn't be a sitting duck. Ethereal Heaven sect, I hope you don't force me, Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. At the heart of the storm, Yi Chunfeng stayed in the universe realm to cultivate. After more than 10 days, the huge storm gradually dissipated. Only then did he quietly leave the universe realm and return to the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion. "Qingfeng, you're finally back. Master has been looking for you all this time." Yi Chunfeng had just returned to the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion, and Hong Shi was the first to know. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's delicate face, Hong Shi felt an inexplicable sense of reverence in her heart. Through Yi Chunfeng's strange disappearance for more than 10 days, Hong Shi had confirmed many of her guesses. "I'll go see the pavilion master now." Yi Chunfeng smiled at Hong Shi, who was deep in thought, and went to the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion to visit Xue Piaomiao. "Is Xue Mingxian dead?" Seeing Yi Chunfeng walk in, Shui Piaomiao sealed the room, looked straight at him, and suddenly asked, "He should be dead." Yi Chunfeng said with a smile, "Qingfeng, if you didn't come from the same world as me and just ascended to the heaven realm, I would have suspected your intentions." Shui Piaomiao sighed softly and said, "But I still want to thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for me and the Jade Snow Immortal Pavilion." "Pavilion Master, you think I did that?" Yi Chunfeng asked with a smile. "Isn't it?" Shui Piaomiao showed a rare smile and asked gracefully. "Pavilion Master, without Shui Mingxian, the Palace Master of the Snow Immortal Pavilion should be in your bag." Yi Chunfeng changed the topic. "No, we still don't know who will become the Palace Master of the Snow Immortal Pavilion. Because of the order of the Shui family's patriarch, the Palace Master of the Snow Immortal Pavilion will be in the upcoming Heavenly Pagoda trial. The disciples of the 4 pavilions who have the best results in the trial will be the Palace Master of the Snow Immortal Pavilion." Shui Piaomiao shook her head and said, "But Shui Mingxian and Shui Tan are dead. The strongest Sunset Snow Immortal Pavilion no longer has a chance. The Palace Master of the Snow Immortal Pavilion will be one of the 3 pavilions. P.S. My WeChat account is full, 5 updates. I want to cry a lot. My public account, Y1TY83 asking for a red packet." Chapter 1588. Heavenly Pagoda Trial Pavilion Master, when will the Heavenly Pagoda trial begin? Will Wendai and I have the qualifications to participate? Yi Chunfeng asked. He had learned about the Heavenly Pagoda trial from Shui Mingxuan's soul searching and was very interested in it. There is still more than a year before the Heavenly Pagoda trial. As long as you are under 1,000 years old and have reached the Dao Sovereign Realm or above, you are eligible to participate. Shui Piaomiao said, however, it is not easy to obtain a good result in the Heavenly Pagoda trial. I have participated in the Heavenly Pagoda trial several times in the past, and my best result was only the 4th floor. Pavilion Master, can you lend me some contribution points? I want to go to the Gravity Star to cultivate for another year and make a breakthrough in the cripple world. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and said. Although Yi Chunfeng had broken through to the 1-star Dao Emperor realm, he felt that the Heavenly Pagoda trial was not simple. He wanted to use the remaining time to refine the several mid-grade Saint True Spirit pills and make another breakthrough. Qingfeng, give me your identity token. I will give you 500,000 points. Shui Piaomiao generously gave Yi Chunfeng 500,000 points to repay Yi Chunfeng's kindness. With these points, it was enough for Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy to cultivate on the gravity planet for another year. Many thanks, Pavilion Master. I will go to the Gravity Star to cultivate. If Pavilion Master encounters any trouble, remember to inform me immediately. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng left the Azure Snow Pavilion. Yi Chunfeng, who are you? Shui Piaomiao suddenly felt that she could not see through Yi Chunfeng. She was certain that the sudden appearance of the Black Rock Emperor was related to him. After leaving the Azure Snow Pavilion, Yi Chunfeng summoned an immortal crane and was about to head to the Gravity Star to cultivate when a blue figure suddenly appeared beside him. Third Senior Sister, are you looking for me? Looking at the cold yet beautiful Yu Lanxin, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. Junior Brother Yi, thank you. Yu Lanxin revealed a rare smile and said in a pleasant voice. You're welcome. Yi Chunfeng replied with a smile. Although the two of them didn't point it out, they didn't say anything. Back on the Gravity Star, Yi Chunfeng extended Xia Wendy's cultivation for another year. Then, he stepped on the heavy Gravity Star and rushed towards the core area of the Gravity Star at an extremely fast speed. When he tore through the increasing spatial pressure and approached the core area of the gravity planet, the cold voice sounded again. Yi Chunfeng, I've really offended you. I didn't expect you to be related to such a shady person. Why does Senior Sister say that? Yi Chunfeng said calmly as he looked at the hole that was covered in a thick layer of dust. Forget it, Let's not talk about this anymore. The cold voice said, Yi Qinfeng, I think you owe me a favor. Yes, if senior sister has any instructions in the future, as long as Qingfeng can do it, I won't hesitate. Yi Qinfeng nodded. What if I say that I want to read the Misty Sword mantra? The ice-cold voice asked. Of course you can. As Yi Qinfeng spoke, he took out a jade slip that flowed with a white light from the universe mirror. I've already recorded the Misty Sword mantra in this jade slip. I'll lend it to senior sister for a year. Yi Qinfeng didn't hesitate. He waved his right hand and the jade slip and arrow pierced through the over 1 billion genes of spatial pressure and flew into the hole. You've completely comprehended the Misty Sword mantra? The ice-cold voice was a bit surprised. And you trust me so much? If Yi Qinfeng could still remember the Misty Sword mantra, that was enough to prove that he had completely comprehended the Misty Sword mantra. I've completely comprehended it. But I'm limited. If I want to display the true might of the Misty Sword mantra, I'm still far from it. Yi Qinfeng nodded. And I only lent the Misty Sword mantra to senior sister to repay your kindness. There's no other reason. I, Shui Xuan, never take advantage of others. I'll give you this blood dragon Ginseng Emperor. As she spoke, a brocade box with powerful restrictions flew out and shot towards Yi Qinfeng. Shui Xuan, the #1 genius of the Shui clan. When Yi Qinfeng searched Shui Mingxuan's soul, he knew the name Shui Xuan. He knew that she could be considered a legend of the Shui clan and was also known as the #1 genius of the Shui clan. She had cultivated for less than 1,000 years and had already reached the 4-star Dao Emperor realm. This kind of result was rarely seen in the entire heaven region. The #1 genius is just an empty title. If you don't step into the Dao Lord realm, you don't deserve to be called a genius, Shui Xuan said. Her voice revealed the determination to pursue the supreme Dao. Senior sister, I'm going to cultivate. I'll see you in the Heaven Pagoda trial. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng endured the terrifying spatial pressure and continued to walk towards the core area of the gravity star. When he arrived at the core area of the gravity star with heavy steps, he stopped and sat down heavily on the ground. He took out a mid-grade True Spirit Saint pill and swallowed it. He circulated the soul-devouring art and quickly refined it. The mid-grade True Spirit Saint pill exploded in his body and immediately emitted a majestic medicinal efficacy. However, under the terrifying spatial pressure, the medicinal efficacy of the mid-grade True Spirit Saint pill didn't leak out at all. It was completely suppressed into his body and rapidly increased his strength. Time passed day by day. Yi Qinfeng endured the close to 2 billion spatial pressure and cultivated bitterly for more than half a year. He refined all the mid-grade True Spirit Saint pills that he had exchanged and merged them into his body. However, because his foundation was too deep and he had refined all the mid-grade True Spirit Saint pills, his strength only increased to the peak of the 1-star Dao Emperor realm. He was unable to tear open the bottleneck and break through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm. It seems like it's impossible to break through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm before the trial. The difficulty of breaking through to the 2-star Dao Emperor realm was beyond Yi Qinfeng's imagination. Since he couldn't break through, Yi Qinfeng could only take a step back and try to break through to the 4th firmament mystic body realm to increase his physical strength. I wonder if the Blood Dragon Ginseng Emperor can help me cultivate to the 4th firmament mystic body realm. Yi Qinfeng opened the seal on the brocade box and saw a finger-sized ginseng that was shaped like a heavenly dragon. It contained a powerful blood essence energy. This Ginseng Emperor was the best treasure for tempering one's body. It was something that could only be found by chance. Yi Qinfeng endured the heavy pressure and simply adjusted his breathing for a while before swallowing the Blood Dragon Ginseng Emperor. He circulated the God Transformation 9 transformations and quickly refined the blood essence energy in it into the Shen K meridian at his navel. It accelerated the transformation of the astral pearl in the Shin K meridian. The Heaven Pagoda trial was getting closer and closer. The disciples of the ethereal heaven sect grasped the limited time and cultivated with all their might. They all wanted to break through before the trial and achieve good result. Xia Wendy had been cultivating on the gravity planet for more than 2 years. With the help of the life-severing ancestral roots spirituality, she had successfully broken through to the 1-star Tao Emperor realm. Her strength had increased by more than 10 times. Although Yi Qinfeng hadn't broken through to the 2-star Tao Emperor realm, he had refined the blood dragon Ginseng Emperor Shui Yishuan gave him and successfully cultivated to the 4th firmament mystic body realm. His physical strength had reached an astonishing 1.4 billion gene. The toughness of his physical body was comparable to the toughest high-grade saint artifact. It's time to come out. After cultivating to the 4th firmament mystic body realm, Yi Qinfeng calculated the time. There were only a few days before the Heaven Pagoda trial. He stopped cultivating and found Xia Wendy, who was trying her best to stabilize her 1-star Tao Emperor realm. The two of them left the gravity planet. Remember the website address. Sanwu Chinese Network.